Okay. Well, oh my God. We had some shit go down yesterday, didn't we? So we're gonna take a look at Asmon's stream from yesterday. Jesus. But I want to see what his take on it is. We'll run a randomizer and just kind of see what the news ends up being. So that's yesterday's stream. We'll see what it looks like. So yeah, let's get on with it then, right? New seed. Generate new seed. Start her up here. Ooh, we got a bottle right away. That's nice.
Yep. All right, everything's all right. Yeah, we had to take a day off yesterday, and yep, that's where we at. But is your dad all good? I'll find out later on today. Took him down to the hospital. He's in the hospital right now. So yep, that's right. I was fucking there all day yesterday, and so yeah, that's the plan. And hopefully, hopefully things turn out right. And so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I saw on Twitter like
today,
his dad was in the hospital because
he's no idea, honestly,
sick. He got pneumonia or something. His dad's old.
Like he's well enough. I called, like in the morning, and I was like, "What the fuck is up?" And they said, "Well, things are okay." And I'm like, "What do you mean by that?" They mean, "Oh, he's complaining about everything." I'm like, "Oh, okay, yeah,
he's probably fine then."
Yeah, he doing all right then. Okay, yeah, that's about right. Okay, so yeah, we'll see what happens, right? But yeah, that's what happened yesterday. That's why I wasn't on yesterday. I was thinking about maybe starting a little bit later, right, or something like that. But by the time I got home, it was 7 p.m. and I left before it was even 11 a.m. And so, like, by the time I got back, I was like, this is already like I would have been offline at this point. I said, fuck it, yeah, man, is your dad okay? I don't know yet. I'm not sure. I mean, at this exact very moment, answers no. But we'll see what happens, right? It's gonna take some time, and we'll see how things go after that. And
I hope his dad's okay. His dad's a good shit.
Your dad gets better. Well, I appreciate it, man. Yeah, I really do. It's been fucking rough. It's been hard, and at the end of the day, you just fucking live through it, right? And that's all you can do.
Yeah,
and so yeah, that's it. We'll see what happens. Death Stranding 2 today. I don't have an early copy. It doesn't come out for 2 more days. So I'm going to kind of wait on for that. But I don't know how, bro. I don't know how. Every day I'm gone, I miss like so much stuff.
It's
like,
true. The last few times
shit,
he's had a day off, like some crazy bullshit's going on.
I was reading everything in the fucking hospital yesterday. I was like, God damn. I said, wait, he said what? Damn, wait, so they... Oh, never mind. Like, I didn't even know what to think, man. Trump lost it. I don't know. I think that we're in a situation where he is either completely in control or completely out of control.
Oh, yeah.
I think that the chances of each one of those becoming true, like, it goes back and forth, like, once an hour. So nobody has any fucking idea. Trump is big mad today. I mean, he should be, bro.
I saw that yesterday morning.
He said they had to stop
on the
shooting
tweeters.
each other, and they didn't stop. Yeah, he's fucking pissed, man.
Yeah, he's not fucking
he's just
happy.
Annoyed. The F-bomb was crazy. I heard about that. I didn't watch it, though. But did you hear Cyberpunk update got delayed? No, I didn't see anything about that. I've been
Cyberpunk's getting an update, really?
All this, like real-life stuff. I haven't even thought about games hardly at all. I barely, yesterday, like, and I knew I was tired, bro. I knew I was tired yesterday.
You gotta do something for hover boots to make them cooler. Because, like, you really don't need them for a randomizer, almost at all.
I went to go lay down. I took a shower.
Especially the way I play it.
Then, well, actually, I could probably say that now. But yeah, I went and took a bath, and you know, did all that. I was over at my dad's house making sure everything's like cleaned up and everything, etc. And so I did that, and fuck, what was it? Where was I even going with that? Oh yeah, I fell asleep yesterday before 11, or sorry, before 12. Like, it was the first day like that I fell asleep before midnight in probably like 3 weeks, something like that, maybe a month. And so yeah, things were sleep before midnight in probably like 3 weeks, something like that, maybe a month. Yeah, I took a shower. Yeah, exactly. Well, about it. And so did I hear that correctly? Yeah, exactly, right?
Yeah, why?
And ceasefire is back on. Well, like, let's be real, though. Like, is it back on or is it back off? Like, it could be back off in an hour. Like, I don't even know what the hell to expect. Is it true that you went to Iran to cause the ceasefire? Yeah, I had to get it sorted out for him, but yeah, things are good now, and everything's okay. And I sleep at 10 p.m. every day. Yeah, I could not get into that. I mean, the thing for me is, like, I've done, and I've woken up and gone to bed at every single time on the 24-hour clock. I have gone to bed at 5 a.m.
In my life, I've definitely done that same thing.
I've gone to bed at 5 p.m. Yep. I've woken up at 5 p.m.
It fucks you up after a while if it changes all the time.
And so, you know, for me, it's not really that crazy, but at the same time, it is, you know, it can be a little bit draining, right? Especially if, like, I'm not consistent. That's my main thing. Is like, it's not that I don't do it. It's that I'm not consistent with it, right? And
yeah, if you just get up and go to bed at the same time every day,
joking around, man.
Not bad.
And everything the streamer is boring as fuck. I mean, there's a lot of, I'm gonna be real, there's a lot of people that are fucking boring. Like, there's some people who are fucking boring. Like, I don't even know how the fuck that happens, but that's it. And take some sleep meds. I mean, I did. It was called stress. I took that medication. I was on a dosage of that for 3.5 days, and so yeah, bro, that shit put me to sleep, man. It did. And hire a maid. Yeah, I don't know about that. But anyway, so that's pretty much where we're at, and WoW Channel is consistent.
You hire a maid, they'll steal your shit.
Yeah, no, the
or put stuff where you can't
channel,
find
let's see how it's doing. I haven't even looked at this. Let me go ahead and pull it up. Twitch tracker. 24/7. Okay, let's see. And where does it say? How are we doing on this?
Acero's nice.
Rank 199. Oh my fucking god. And I am in the top 100 English channels. Oh my god.
He's making some good money off. Yeah.
I don't even know what to say. But that's where we're at now, guys. That's where we're at. And I was watching you doing the overnight streams in 2023 when you went on the current events. Yeah. Like back in the day, I used to stream overnights, but then I kind of stopped doing that because I was worried.
So what they were talking about is like, I don't think he's running it himself, but like, you know, like whoever he pays to like run his, what do you call it? YouTube channel for him, I think, or like one of his Twitch moderators started a channel and they're just playing like his old streams from a few years ago, like back when he was still playing World of Warcraft and doing stuff like that, because people still bitch that he doesn't play World of Warcraft anymore, you know, that sort of thing. So he's got the second channel or third channel, I guess, that's just like reruns of his old streams that are notable in some way of, you know, like what game he was playing or whatever. But it's like in the top 200 channels on Twitch, which is pretty good for just like old content you're just rerunning, and like somebody just like loads up a few days worth of content and just walks away from it, and you don't have to do anything. So little side income. Well, that'll pay for some Wendy's probably, but yeah. So yeah, because I saw that show up like a couple weeks ago now, I think. And right now, I think they're doing like World of Warcraft, like mount offs or some shit. Those are kind of fun to watch, actually. They're kind of funny. And you see some cool stuff, or like mount offs, or what's the other thing? Transmog contests. Where people like put like the best or what they think is the coolest looking gear on, just by the visual, like what it looks like, and then he judges them on it. and sometimes he judges them pretty harshly. It's actually pretty entertaining if you know, like, are even mildly interested or ever played WoW. Those are worth watching. But anyway.
Worried about it. It's been rerunning transmog comps. We got to watch those. Yeah, those are the good times, man.
Yeah, the transmogs ones are fun.
Very fun. And so you call passive income? Well, I don't know. I'd have to check and see for myself. But yeah, what's your main channel at though? I have no idea. My main channel at, like, both of the channels. Let me see. Zach Rar. Where's this channel at? So this channel's ranked 2. And the Asmongold, oh, I spelled it wrong. There it is. The Asmongold channel, it was, you know, like we had pretty big streams, right? You know, things were going really well, but then I just kind of stopped. And yeah, you guys can see how I just got more and more and more inconsistent until I pretty much just quit. And that's what it was. And rank 2 for real. Kai's number 1. I think Kai's probably should be number 1, right? No, it's just some other random account. I don't even know who this is. Blast Premier. What even is Blast Premier? It's a it's a Counter-Strike 2 place. Okay. So that's all right. Yeah, I don't even know
Counter-Strike 2 streams get those kind of views. Fucking really?
Either way, let's go back. I'll see if I can figure out a few more of these here. CS Major. Yeah, well, I guess the only I'm I guess number 1 besides the you know, like another channel like that. Sure. And so there you go. Did you see the F bomb that dropped? Yeah, we're gonna go over everything. I figured I'd just kind of, like, you know, intro for like 5 or 10 minutes because I know a lot of people kind of want to give, you know, their opinion, etc., and you know, talk about stuff. But then we'll go from there. Please watch the end of Stop Killing Games so you can get people's attention for this. Yeah, I might watch that today. It just depends on what I have time for, right? I mean, obviously, you know, today, like, my plan is I'm going to try to go over everything and, you know, be on for a while. And then I'm probably going to go later on today to visit my dad, you know, check on him in the hospital and see how he's doing. And, you know, that's not going to be for quite a while. I'll be at least on for a few hours. And so, you know, that's currently what the plan is. And yeah, that's it. Is your dad okay? We'll find out. We're gonna find out soon. I'm not really sure. And if everyone at your job is a retard, how long until you're justified in losing your shit? You shouldn't lose. You should never lose your shit. Losing your shit is a lack of self-control. Instead of losing your shit, you should lose your job. Just get another job. Go somewhere else. Never let other people's bad behavior or actions control your behavior.
No, that's hard to do, though.
They own you.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, never make decisions in the context of other people. Never make decisions in adversity of other people. Only do things that you want to do. Only act in ways that are beneficial to you. And yeah, that's it. Easier said than done. Well, yeah, I know, but at least saying it's better than doing neither, right? And so, and I try to do that myself. And, you know, I mean, I try to be live every day, right? No matter what. And so I try to live what I preach as much as I can. But, you know, of course, nobody's perfect, right? And so there it is. And Raft No Penguin Zero video, I haven't seen that at all. And anyway, so be stoic. Yeah, don't be a fucking bitch. That's basically it. Yeah. And anyway, so yesterday, let me just make sure that I get everything. Wow. Okay, so in the past 24 hours, let me get this straight. Okay. So Iran bombed a base in America. Trump said, LMAO,
it was an American
you missed.
Base.
Like, this is it from yesterday. And then after that, Trump just didn't give a fuck. And so the war was basically in Qatar. It was an American base in Qatar. Right. And so then he was like, yeah, whatever. Nobody got killed. Nothing happened. And then,
yeah, I guess nothing really happened.
You know, what was this here? This is, this is today. I think this is the big one, right? I guess we might as well just watch this now. This is the... This is the moment that I think everybody's been talking about on social media.
Yep.
And I haven't actually watched it myself, but I know what's going to be said. And so anyway, this is Trump talking about basically, so he set up last night, and you've got to keep in mind, let me go back. So this is probably what I find to be so funny about this is how completely fucking like unhinged everything is.
Yeah.
Like nobody knows what's happening and what isn't happening at this point. I
True.
legitimately have no fucking clue. Let me see if I can find and pull this up. So Trump,
Twitter had lots of conflicting information. Like, yeah,
okay,
like
I
it's
guess this just isn't going to work.
How are you supposed to know what's actually real?
Everybody's going to his own website, and so that's not really it. And so let me go back over. Well, anyway, he gets a ceasefire between. Well, no, it's not this one.
God damn it!
Let me go all the way down here and see if I can find it. Jesus. And there we go. Israel and Iran came to me almost simultaneously and said, peace. I knew the time was now. The world and the Middle East are the real winners. Both nations will see tremendous love, peace, and prosperity in their futures. They have so much to gain and yet so much to lose if they stray from the road of righteousness and truth.
Ooh.
The future for Israel and Iran is unlimited and filled with promise. God bless you both. Right? So he goes and he says this shit, right? And I mean, if
that's
they
pretty
stray
good.
from the path of righteousness and truth, how do you believe in Trump? Well, because it worked. That's the reason why people believe in this guy, because he does insane shit and somehow he comes out ahead.
Yeah,
That's
somehow.
the reason why. I mean, it shouldn't work. It shouldn't happen.
But it does.
Reason for this to happen. It defies all logic and rationality. No, it didn't. Well, no. Okay, so then, it didn't work though. Well, now it is working again. So it didn't. Okay, so he says that there's a ceasefire. He's promising there's a ceasefire.
Yeah.
Everybody's saying is that, Trump, should get the Nobel Peace Prize. Everything is going really well.
I saw that.
This was a moment.
Now we're hearing incredibly optimistic
that lasts for like a couple hours.
As far as how long this goes
Literally.
and what this is going to look like.
Yes.
Like
That
in
obviously still
actuality,
remains
it
to
was
be
a
seen
couple,
on the
2-3 hours
implementation
maybe.
side of this,
I
and
think.
waiting to see if the firing does stop and if Iran and Israel do both agree to this. Because, speaking of the fluidity of the situation, it was just 24 hours ago that President Trump himself was suggesting a regime change in Iran was a possibility. And obviously right before that,
I don't think that'd have been a good idea.
Strike Iran. And so,
of course,
yes, there have been a lot of phone calls going back and forth. In part, this has to do with Iran's limited response earlier, where they fired on a U.S. base in Qatar. But there were no casualties.
Yep.
We know that they did give a heads up that they were going to be firing on U.S. bases without exactly specifying which ones.
I mean, how is it like? How do they just tell you, like, yeah, we're going to bomb you? By the way,
but that is the question here.
I think that's actually what happened. Okay, so I guess this would be in response to the U.S. going over to Iran and like blowing up like their nuclear enrichment places, and so then the next day they called us up. They're like, "We're gonna bomb you." Because they kind of have to. Like, can you imagine if, like, you're the leaders of Iran and then the U.S. comes in and blows all that shit up? You have to do something or you're going to look like a fucking idiot in front of your own people. So you have to, like, in some way retaliate. Like, just politically, you have to. And we know that that's the case. He has to. The guy that's running the show in Iran, he has to retaliate in some way. It's not a question. It's not even whether he wants to do it or not. He has to. So he calls us up and says, yeah, we're going to bomb you. They didn't give specific details, I don't think. But they're like, we got to do something, right? I don't know. I don't know the exact conversation, but they were like, yeah, okay. This would be a good spot to do that at, probably. I don't know if they actually said that, but I would have if I was them. Like, yeah, I know you do. You got to do what you got to do. So, shoot it over here. This one's empty, but then you can tell your people that you shot at us and shit, and then we'll try to get something figured out, which actually is what they did. More or less, because after that happened, then they're like, okay, can we do the ceasefire thing now? Did we get that all out of our systems, guys? Everybody, like, are we good? I mean, that's kind of the gist of what I got out of it. All right, so I mean, you guys are just gonna run out of fucking missiles if you just keep doing this shit. So y'all want to just knock it off now, then, for a little bit, and then we'll see if we can get something figured out here. So that's pretty much what happened. So now you have the ceasefire thing. I'm sure he'll talk about it. So, but yeah, reading through this, I'm like, this is fucking insane. This is just so. Here's the thing, like, that sort of politics probably has gone on always, but we've never really gotten to see that before. So I think that's what it is. This isn't anything special. This isn't any more of a clown show than shit usually is. It's just that it's more transparent, so we get to actually see it all go down. I think that's actually what's going on here. I don't think this is any crazier than anything else that happens. It's just that we're getting a little bit more comparatively a behind the scenes look than we've been used to getting all these years, I suppose. So that's what I think.
Felt that it did not need to respond to the Iranian retaliation. Did that create the space for this? That is what we've been hearing from administration officials. And so the question is whether or not this still holds for the next few hours.
And so they're trying to second guess Donald, right? They're saying like, oh, bro, this shit's not going to happen. Then in the middle of the broadcast.
Caitlin, I've just been given word that Iran, according to a diplomat who briefed CNN, Iran has agreed to the ceasefire. So
really?
This is a significant.
I'm actually kind of surprised they agreed to it,
as soon as we
but
get it about that. But if that
also not for the same reason I just said.
Wow. We were waiting. We had not heard from Iran. We had not heard from Israel. All we were going on so far has been the president's social media post, which was some 2 hours ago. So again, that is the first indication we have that Iran has agreed to this.
Well, there we go. And so anyway,
problem solved then, right?
And you know, everybody was happy and things were going very well. And so then right after that, obviously, oh, by the way, the House passed a bill to defund the Taliban. I don't know how that exactly happened, but you know,
why the fuck we were funding him in the first place?
This guy too.
Reports that Iran has targeted
we were just giving him money not to fuck with us. Is that it?
President, earlier today, we received reports that Iran has targeted U.S. military bases and U.S. service members in the Middle East, putting the lives of thousands of Americans at immediate risk. I join Americans. I pray for their safety. This afternoon, I asked the Trump administration to immediately provide a classified briefing, laying out the full threat picture, the intelligence behind Iran's retaliation, and the detailed scope and timeline of any U.S. response.
So he's very unhappy.
More importantly, I've demanded they lay out exactly what measures they're taking right now to keep our service members safe. As I said,
okay, like, I do not like Schumer at all. I think he's a fucking dickhead retard, but he does have a point with this a little bit. Okay, so like, it's somewhat precarious that it seems like Trump is just kind of winging this, right? Like, so nobody knows what the fuck he's going to do. He doesn't even know what he's going to do until he does it. I mean, understandably, certainly given the stakes, it might be a good idea to let, the kind of higher ups, responsible people in the government, like I don't know, like whatever parts of Congress would normally weigh in on these things. Yeah, I can get why he'd be like, hey, you got to at least tell us what's going on here, right? I get that. The problem is, that's the strategy that Trump is using. That's what it is. It's like, I'm flying by the seat of my pants, guys, so we're doing this shit, fucking handshake deal, like a used car salesman or some shit. And I mean that in like a good way. Like, nope, it's just very direct. This is actually what we're going to do, how we're going to do it, etc. Where, like by committee, that's a completely different way of doing things. And it probably wouldn't work as well to do it by committee. But I do understand wanting to, and probably it's a good idea, that some other people are at least a little bit clued in on what he's doing here, you know. But on the other hand, the more people that you let in on shit like that, then things get leaked, and then that strategy isn't as effective. So I get what Schumer's saying. I still think he's a fucking idiot, but like he's right about that. Like I can see where he's coming from. I'll put it that way. Like I can put myself in those shoes and be like, well, come on, man. If you're gonna do that, you gotta at least throw us a bone here and a little bit let us know what's going on. Like otherwise, we're not doing our jobs. Like, because remember, all of those guys work for us, the regular Joes, and the government is supposed to answer to us. And they're our representatives, so they're supposed to speak in our place and provide oversight for the government. So, like, in that sense, I think it is good to keep that in mind, that that's, like, at least the overall view of, like, how we've always done things, which is a good thing. But in this case, like I said, that strategy doesn't work quite as well as the used car salesman finesse, which works incredibly well, actually, if you're good at it. Just to be real, and that's what Donald does. It's annoying that he's like Asman said, like, it shouldn't work, but somehow he makes it fucking work. He's done shit like this a bunch of times where he does something that seems so ridiculous, but he ends up getting his fucking way. It's annoying as shit. But you gotta admire it, right? Like, it takes a certain sort of skill to do that. Love him or hate him, I mean, you gotta give him that. Oh yeah, he's the biggest shyster I know. He would take that as a fucking compliment too. I mean, that's just what it is. I mean, you're wheeling and dealing real estate in New York. You're just plain used car salesman, so kind of makes sense. Anyway.
Saturday night, Congress and the American people are owed answers.
Yeah, we do need to know what's going on.
Should be allowed to unilaterally march this nation into war with erratic threats, no strategy, no explanation.
Man.
That's why I've called on Leader Thune to hold a vote.
Well, he does have a strategy.
The war powers
he could explain it if he wants to.
Requires the Trump administration to consult with Congress.
It's not conducive to what he's trying to do.
You know
the
who really
American
lost?
people,
Yeah.
especially the families of those in harm's way, deserve nothing less. Confronting the Iranian regime's nuclear ambitions and stopping their campaign of terror.
This is right when he's
strength, resolve,
whenever he's announcing the peace deal.
Clarity.
Man, and so they're crashing out. They're mad about this, obviously.
Okay, except for one thing. It's easy to miss this if you weren't paying attention. Like, he's not denying that we don't like Iran. Like, we actually, pretty much everybody in America agrees that we don't want to, like, have them fucking around. Like, it doesn't matter if you're, you know, a Democrat or a liberal liberal or conservative. For the most part, the overwhelming majority of us can agree that we do not need Iran having nukes and fucking around over there. Nobody wants that. Not really. There's some extremists probably on either end that would be all for it. But most people are like, Jesus Christ. What fucking... So the argument is more procedural rather than, you know, whether we need to address this or not, because clearly we do. We're all in agreement on that part. It's, you know, the devil's in the details, right? I think. Like, for the most part, that's kind of how I read the situation. Schumer didn't say we shouldn't do this at all. Schumer's saying you got to clue us in on this shit, dude, and let us know what the fuck's going on in your rationale. He didn't say we shouldn't be doing this at all. Big difference.
And anyway, so this lasted for I'd say like 5 minutes. And
yeah,
so
the ceasefire
legitimately
didn't last very
long. What's
long.
interesting too is that, let me go back over here. And big surprise, they violated immediately, and you could tell that the ceasefire was going to get violated. How do you know the ceasefire was going to get violated? The reason why is because they were literally, like, they put a timer on when the ceasefire was.
Yeah, there's a certain time of day.
To bomb each other and, like, fucking get the last hit in before the timer runs out.
Yes.
Like, I mean, are you kidding me? Like, you really think this shit was gonna stop? Like, what kind of bullshit? That's like a fucking video game.
It is.
They're like, okay, bro.
Like, literally, like, there was a tweet that Trump had put out that specified certain times of the day on this date. No more shooting at each other, right? And it's almost like both sides kind of decided, well, we already got all this ammunition loaded up and shit anyways. We only got like 6 hours to shoot it off, so fucking let's go. We got to get it in before the buzzer. Like, literally, that's what these fucking guys did. It's ridiculous, but again, this is a reflection of the expectation of their people because they have to answer for their actions. Just like earlier when I said, well, we bombed the shit out of Iran's nuclear places and stuff. So, I mean, politically, the leaders of that country have to retaliate. We know that too. This is just how things, because to satisfy your people, right? So this is the same thing because everybody's like, just Joe Blow worker in Israel or Iran is looking at his watch after he sees that tweet and he's going, we only got 5 hours left. I hope they're fucking doing something. I get it, right? But that's what they did. Yep. We got to get them all in under the buzzer. How'd that end up?
Oh, all right. It's 1:52 and we've still got another. Okay. Yeah. We've got 8 more minutes. All right, send another one. No, it should be fine. We'll tell Donald that we started whenever it happened and it just landed. It was a misfire, right? Delusional. Yeah, Tekken last round. Yeah, exactly. And so then finally, Trump finds out about this and he totally fucking crashes out.
Yeah, he was mad.
He's so fucking mad. He's furious. He's out of his fucking mind. Trump, yeah, he even says Trump furious with Israel, Iran faltering ceasefire as he leaves for the NATO summit. And there we go. Look at his face. Is he happy? No, he's not.
No, he isn't.
Reports coming from the region suggest that the sides accuse each other for violating the ceasefire. So
I think they both violated it. I don't think I'm not sure they did it intentionally. They couldn't rein people back. I don't like the fact that Israel went out this morning at all, and I'm going to see if I can stop it. So as soon as I get away from you, I'm going to see if I can stop it, okay?
So he's fucking pissed.
I mean, just look at him.
I think it's been completely demolished. I think the reason we're here is because those pilots, those B-2 pilots, did an unbelievable job. And, you know, the fake news, like CNN in particular, they're trying to say, well, I agree that it was destroyed, but maybe not that destroyed.
Yeah.
You know what they're doing? They're really hurting.
Because then they're arguing of whether we actually destroyed anything really or not.
CNN is scum, and so is MSDNC. They're all, and frankly, the networks aren't much better. It's all fake news, but they should not have done that.
Yeah.
Those pilots hit their targets.
The thing is, it's really easy. Like, okay, we've heard Trump say fake news probably like literally 10,000 times. But between, like, you know, his term this time around plus all of last time. And I pretty much just shrugged that off. Like, anytime that the news says anything bad about him, of course he's going to say it's fake news. But the thing is like, if you actually watch the news now and see what they say and then just compare it to what other scuzzlebutt is around, say, on the internet or whatever, it becomes a little more apparent that these TV news network, they are definitely crafting a narrative. They're not giving you the whole story. and you can tell that. Yeah, I mean, factually, they're not. What I just said is what they're doing. So he's actually kind of right when he says that it's fake news, because of course they put their fucking spin on it. And for the same reason, the curtain's gotten pulled back a little bit on that too, and we can see that that is actually the case. So, like, he's not wrong when he says it's fake news. He says it all the time. It's really tiresome, but he's not entirely wrong either. He's still using it as an excuse a little bit, but I mean, like, there you go.
Those targets were obliterated, and the pilots should be given credit. They're not after the pilots, they're after me. They want to try and demean. Iran will never rebuild its nuclear. From there? Absolutely not. That place is under rock. That place is demolished. The B-2 pilots did their job. They did it better than anybody could even imagine. They hit late in the evening. It was dark with no moon.
I mean, I gotta say that they really did cook the shit out of them.
Well, I mean, it seems that way.
They did. Like, they had no idea that shit was even gonna happen. Like, I didn't even realize how badly they fucked up that site until I realized that
like,
the tunnel that had collapsed was like a mile away from the place that they had bombed.
The stuff that I saw was unconvincing that it had done much, to be honest with you, but I don't know if what I saw was even real.
It's done. Okay, yeah, got it.
But I'm willing to take it on faith that I'm sure they damaged the place.
That's gone.
They did actually go there and drop those big bombs, so.
It wasn't really as demolished as we thought. It was demolished. You take a look at the pinpricks, and you see that place is gone. And I will say, I think CNN ought to apologize to the pilots of the B-2s. I think that MSDNC ought to apologize. I think these guys really, these networks and these cable networks are real losers. You really are.
Real losers.
Yep.
You're gutless losers. I say that to CNN because I watch it. I have
to call them gutless losers.
Mm-hmm.
You're gutless losers. I say that to CNN.
Jesus, bro, he's sitting there talking shit. He mad as fuck.
Uh-huh.
Then, because I watch it, I have no choice. I gotta watch that garbage. It's all garbage. It's all fake news. But I think CNN is a gutless group of people, and the people that run it, nobody even knows it's been sold so many
Here's
times.
the thing.
But the people.
Here's the thing with me. When I hear him talk like this, part of me is like, you dude, you're just making excuses. Dude, eat a dick. The other half of me is like, yeah, but what if he's telling the truth, though? It's hard to tell whether he's just flat out fucking lying to you or he's actually telling the truth. Because it's crazy either way. But one of them is actually the truth. So it's hard to know. Every time I hear him talk about shit like this, it's like, I don't know if I believe you or not, but like it's plausible, but I do have to suspend disbelief a little bit too. But I mean, why shouldn't he just be able to say what he thinks on this shit? That's good for the most part. Just don't divulge any like secret plans or anything. But like otherwise, yeah, you should tell us exactly how you feel. Don't put on some fake politician facade. That's ridiculous. I wish more people would just be like a regular fucking person instead of having to put on the politician TV personality all the time. No, just be a real person. People will respect you for it even if they don't love you for it. And he does do that. Like, if he wants to let you know what he's actually thinking, he will do that. I mean, we all know that.
People that run it ought to be ashamed. MSDNC, a guy named Brian Roberts, he heads it. He's
piece of shit.
He's a weak, pathetic disgrace.
Jesus.
He always shits talk somebody else.
He's just
always.
Fucking pissed.
Usually it's Biden, but
God damn.
If you like look at this in full screen, like he is not happy. He is mad. You can just tell by his face.
Israel Israel, as soon as we made the deal, they came out and they dropped a load of bombs, the likes of which I'd never seen before. The biggest
of course he's fucking...
Yeah, as soon as Trump gave him a deadline, then they're like, all right, throw fucking everything at him. Like, literally. That's, like, if you want a ceasefire, like, to, like, chill everybody out and, like, just stop shooting at each other for a little bit here. All right, let's all take a chill pill. Like, you don't agree to a ceasefire that's going to happen in 12 hours and then spend the next 12 hours doing as much fucking damage as possible. That's not really in good faith. You know what I mean? Like, if you were serious about chilling hostilities, once you said, okay, ceasefire deadline's at 12, we'll call off our dogs, and then you don't actually just take the steps to do that. Tell all the guys that are, you know, in the trucks waiting to push the button, all right, guys, pull her back. Yeah. Pull her back. Don't push the button. Bring her back. But that's not what happened. As soon as they're like, yeah, ceasefire's at 12. Instead of telling everybody to pull her back, they told them to all hit the red button at once. That's not in good faith if you want, like, things to settle down. Like, what the fuck? Is it really? Well, God damn it, we already set this shit up. We might as well fire it off. Maybe there's a little bit of truth to that, but it doesn't look good. Let's put it that way.
Pissed. Yeah, it's ridiculous that, like, oh, we're gonna get a ceasefire in 12 hours. Okay, so the idea of that is that, like, that doesn't mean, okay, get your big ones in now, boys.
No.
Get the big ones in now. Hey, you won't have time later. Drop them all right now.
Yeah, exactly.
That we've seen.
What the fuck, man? That's not how that's supposed to work.
When I say, okay, now you have 12 hours, you don't go out in the first hour and just drop everything you have on them. So
yeah, no.
Exactly. I'm not happy with Iran either.
And you know what? He has every right to be pissed off about that. He's 100% right about that. Neither one of them should have done that. There's no excuse for that. He's trying to get you guys to fucking settle down. And that's the way you go about it? Like, it's not very classy. Everybody wants to bag on Trump for being a dick, but he sure as hell ain't the only one.
But I'm really unhappy if Israel's going out this morning because the one rocket that didn't...
They're supposed to be our allies, so you think that they would be the one that would fucking not make us look like assholes. Right? Nope, both of them did it. Ridiculous.
Land that was shot, perhaps by mistake, that didn't land. I'm not happy about that. You know what? We basically have two countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the fuck they're doing. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir. You know what? He's right.
Oh my God.
Yeah, he's fucking right. I give him props for putting it that bluntly. I do.
Wow.
I get why people don't like that,
but
the
thing is, he's completely right.
Yes, he is.
He's totally right. I think everybody feels this way. Yes. Wow. And does he actually just walk off after that?
Yeah, he fucking mic drops and leaves.
He actually just walks off.
Yes. That's what makes it so fucking good. And you can just tell by the way he's walking, he's so goddamn pissed. He feels defeated. He's trying to salvage this goddamn situation.
Yep. Hey, that's right, guys.
He feels betrayed by our allies, too. And he's got to square this fucking deal.
Jesus.
After he already put in the work to try to do that. Yeah, I'd be pissed off if I was him, too.
And,
for real.
It's refreshing to hear a president say things we're all feeling instead of being politically correct.
Yes.
Yep. And
100%.
that was the end of it. Oh my fucking God.
I actually I 100% agree with him on that
I'm
one.
not happy with Iran either.
There's a lot of shit that I don't agree with him on, but I do agree with him on this one.
Because the one rocket that didn't land, that was shot, perhaps by mistake, that didn't land. I'm not happy about that.
No.
You know what? We basically have two countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the fuck they're doing. Do you understand that?
Yeah, they're just so focused on blasting each other, they're not even thinking about the ramifications of what they're doing. That's what he's saying, and he's totally fucking right. They should have both settled down as soon as they said, all right, we'll do a ceasefire. And to both sides' credit, they did agree to do a ceasefire. So let's not get lost in the sauce on that point. They both said, all right, yeah, we are kind of sick of this. Okay, maybe we can get something figured out, at least take a break for a couple days. Trump did broker that, and then both sides immediately fucking roached out on that deal. I do not blame him at all for feeling the way that he does about that. If I was in his shoes, that's exactly how I would feel. And if that's the only thing he had to say about it that was negative in tone, good on him, because I would have had a lot more to say about it. I'd have had a hard time just saying that and walking away. That's why I think this is so good. He just fucking says it, blunt, point blank, turns on his heels, starts walking for the chopper. That's it. He didn't even say goodbye. Did he? I don't think he did. Here, let's rewind that for a second if I can.
Absolute fucking cinema.
It is too.
Oh my
yes.
God. Was the end of it.
Okay, yeah, like one more time, we gotta see that.
Yeah,
I'm not happy with Iran either, but I'm really unhappy if Israel's going out this morning because the one rocket that didn't land, that was shot, perhaps by mistake, that didn't land. I'm not happy about that. You know what? We basically have two countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the fuck they're doing. Do you understand that?
I love how he did that. He leaned forward, raised his voice, and whoever he was looking at, he was staring him right in the eyes. And then he just turns on his heel and fucking walks away. That's it.
Absolute.
And you can just see the frustration in his posture.
Oh my
I actually feel for him on this one. I really do.
And do you understand that? Yes, bro. That's like a directed by Michael Bay moment.
Yes.
I cannot wait for that. I'm pretty sure people have probably already edited that in already. Now we're talking good stuff.
No, that's perfect.
He just literally walks off after that.
Yeah.
And I think it is hilarious. You're going to watch the live footage of Trump arriving at NATO summit?
Dude,
of course. I mean, absolutely. Like right now, I mean, things are really kind of crazy.
Yeah.
And let's see, is he here? No, not yet. Nobody knows what's happening. Yep, they're all waiting on him, and we'll see what he says when he gets here. And nah, bro, it's a JoJo's roundabout moment. It's just going to continue. You think it's going to continue? You could be right. And,
I don't think so.
Anyway, so he said
I think they'll settle down now.
So the ceasefire is. Now
I don't know. We'll see what happens this morning.
If you can believe this. So let me go and see if I can pull this up and show you again. So we need a comparison between Biden walking away and Trump walking away. Yeah. Whereas, because he said now that the ceasefire has happened once more. And where is it going?
He let him know he was
what
pissed.
Biden did to this country. Okay, Biden is bad.
And they better fucking hold to the deal.
Israel and Iran wanted to stop the war equally. It was my great honor to destroy all nuclear facilities and capability and then stop the war. So basically, they broke the ceasefire. They violated it. And then he got really, really fucking mad. And, he makes this massive fucking longer post about AOC. Look at this. He's going crazy about this.
I forgot about that.
About her. Yeah, ceasefire fatigue. I can guarantee your war's not over. I mean, who the fuck knows?
Hard to say. It's really hard to say.
Heading to NATO, we're at the worst. It'll be much calmer period than what I went through with Israel and Iran.
Yeah, no shit.
Iran will never rebuild their nuclear facilities. Israel is not going to attack Iran. All planes will turn around and head home while doing a friendly plane wave to Iran. Nobody will be hurt. The ceasefire is in effect. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Donald J. Trump, President of the United States. And so...
this really is a cinema. You have to find... Like, it's scary, yeah, because there's... I mean, like, shit could be bad, but, like, you have to find the humor in the whole thing as well, because this is just real life. This is just regular humans. Like, sure, it's on a large scale, but at the end of the day, it's just fucking other humans interacting with other humans, just like you see every day in normal life in every situation. Like, these people aren't like, I mean, they're human beings, okay? So what you can really expect is what human beings do in these sorts of situations. I think that's at least fair to say, rather than the kind of like put on the politician face, you know, TV interview persona. That's not who these people really are. Who these people really are is their actions and, you know, what they're actually doing, rather than just what they say on TV, basically. But yeah, interesting to watch unfold, and that's why you kind of just have to see the humor in it. These are actually just regular ass people too. These aren't like, you know, kings or gods or anything. They're just regular fucking people. They got the same fucking problems everybody else does. They might manifest in a different way, but at a fundamental level, you know, there's a certain struggle a human being has in life regardless of their circumstances. You know, so it's good to keep in mind that, you know, that all binds us. Just the struggle of getting through life, whatever that happens to mean for your particular situation, right? And the interactions you end up having on account of that.
Israel, do not drop those bombs.
Yeah, don't drop those bombs. Yeah, just straight up fucking tell.
What universe are we living in?
Fucking clown world, man.
Do not drop those bombs.
Yeah.
If you do, it's a major violation. Bring your pilots home now. Donald J. Trump.
Yep.
Oh,
he actually tweeted that out.
Now in effect. Yep. Please do not violate it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
And the funny thing is, as pissed as he was on that TV interview, I think you should probably take at least those ones seriously. And then, yeah, he bitched a long time about AOC and Jasmine Crockett and how they're both stupid. And Ilhan Omar and some other Democrat woman that he didn't like, I think. It was a long one. It was hard to like read through the whole thing because it was all just like solid wall of text. It wasn't even like broken out into paragraphs, so it's harder to read that way. So, you know, I didn't read the whole thing in specifics, but yeah, he had a good rant going on about them, probably because they were criticizing him for, you know, the decisions he was making or whatever. But yeah, Donald had a rough morning yesterday morning.
Tweeting out photos of himself, saying that he was right about everything.
Yeah.
Yep, there we go. Is there anything else here? Iran, and they said peace. Oh, this is the one that we saw before. So right now, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I don't know. I think that the ceasefire is in effect now.
It's supposed to be.
I think so.
Yeah.
I'm not even sure.
I didn't see anything overnight that looked like it was any kind of new hostilities. So.
And so it is. I think so. Yes. Right. I give it 12 hours to be honest. It is in effect. Okay. It is in effect. And yeah, this is insane. Obviously, Israel is the problem. I mean, they bombed them. Yeah, Israel should not have done that. It's not even a question. But yeah.
We basically have two countries that have been fighting.
I'm glad he said that.
This was the end of the interview.
So long and so hard that they don't know what the fuck they're doing. Do you understand that?
I actually respect him for saying that because that's how I feel about it, to be honest with you.
You know what?
Oh my God.
I don't hate Israel, but I don't have any great love for them either. I don't particularly trust them even. I mean, they have their own agenda. They're their own nation, so of course they do. Just because we're allies doesn't mean that we're allied on all things. Whether we say so or they say so or not. So, I mean, like, and that's way over there. What the fuck do I care about what happens between those two anyways? Other than we don't want Iran to have nukes because that would be bad for the whole world. Well, if we solve that problem right now, then that's really the main goal. But then we got to get these two dickheads to stop, you know, throwing paper planes at each other. Because we already stepped in once to be the adult in this situation, so we got to make sure we keep them separated. You know, gotta let them both know, hey, big brother's over here. Like, not that kind of big brother, but like me talking to my younger siblings. Hey, I don't give a fuck about your fight that you're having, but it's bothering me now, and you're both going to go back to your corners and knock it off, and I'm going to kick the shit out of either one or both of you if this shit continues, and that's it. So, like, in that sense, not like Big Brother from 1984. That's not what I mean. That's a different thing. But yeah, I mean, it's you know, there's the stakes are a little higher than a childhood scuffle between your siblings that you don't want to have to deal with the fallout from. To be fair.
What a world that we're in.
Yeah,
and
it's fucking
there it is.
Clown world.
Iran got probably their most successful strike towards the end, unfortunately. Well,
yes.
Then they got to stop. I mean, Israel got a lot of good ones on them, too.
Ooh, look at that.
Yeah,
both of these songs.
Trump says he is, quote, really unhappy with Israel.
I would take Prelude right now.
Oh, he is not happy with Israel.
Good. I'm glad he's saying that.
Man.
It's okay to say that you're not.
So nobody knows.
It's to me. It's kind of the same thing, you know, like in politicians speak on the TV, you just kind of have to be in alignment with your allies all the time. You can't let on that you have any sort of, you know, disagreement with them. He's not doing that. He's saying what he actually thinks. And I respect that. And like, yeah, he has every right to feel that way and to let everybody else know too. I think that's pretty genuine. I mean, he's a bullshitter, but I think that one's actually pretty genuine. Like, he's not happy with them. All you guys had to do was not do that one thing, and everything would have been fine. Why are you making this unnecessarily complicated? And by the way, where did you get those missiles from? Because we give you like $20 billion a year. So it's like actually our missiles that you're shooting off doing this too. So just keep that in mind. So yeah, that's why like I don't have a great love for Israel, but I don't like have anything against them particularly either. I just don't particularly trust them in that sense, you know.
Knows what's going to happen now. I mean, hopefully nothing, right? Ideally nothing. That would be a best case scenario. Would be nothing.
Just fizzle out now.
I guess you're just going to have to wait and see.
Hopefully.
And I don't think there's a whole lot. Let me see if there's any more of these.
Yeah, I'll just need to settle down over there and fucking get along.
There it is.
It's ridiculous.
But, where the fuck did this go? No, nothing, a whole lot. Oh, they can do that? I mean, it looks like Bowser.
Another song? God damn it.
Okay.
I will take a pony song too.
And take out Israel's nuclear capabilities. I mean, I don't think Israel should have
nukes
nukes
either,
either, right? I mean, I don't know why anybody...
Nobody over there needs to have nukes.
I don't know why anybody would... Okay, let's see. I don't know why... I don't know why anybody would disagree with that, right? And so, yeah... anyway, so what was I even saying before that? I forgot. I got distracted. And so, yeah, he pissed. Obviously, I think that everybody would be, happy. Not surprised by that at all. Mm-hmm. And so Israel is ordered to respond. He telling them what to do now?
Good.
Thank God. Thank fucking God. Holy shit.
You're not going to fuck this up for me.
Yeah, one of the reasons why Israel dropped the bomb was because Iran launched the missiles and killed at least 3 people minutes before the ceasefire. Yeah, they've both killed a bunch of people. They both have. Like, it's happened a lot.
It was on the other side.
Keep doing that back and forth, it's never going to end. Let's be honest, right? I mean, this has been an ongoing war for years. It's not like, okay, well, we're gonna do one more bombing and then we're gonna be even. No, their last bombing was to make them even, and so now you're bombing. Now you're one ahead of them, and then so now they have to bomb you. But then from your perspective, now they're one ahead of you, so you gotta bomb them.
Yeah,
and it's like no, it's never fucking stops.
You got to break the cycle at some point with that shit.
And that's the thing. So eventually, somebody has to stop shooting the bombs.
Yeah,
somebody has to stop shooting them. And Israel getting the last word. Yes, this is crazy. Firing off bombs with minutes before the ceasefire. Like, that is the most bad faith thing that I've ever heard in my fucking life.
Yeah, why the fuck would you do that?
We're gonna have a ceasefire. Real quick. Hey, we got 10 minutes? It takes 8 minutes for them to get there? Fire them now. Go, quick.
Yeah, is that what they did?
My little brother has to try to get the last word
Piece
in?
of shit.
Yes, exactly.
We begin this morning with a Fox News alert. Israel
I'd be mad
the
too
IDF to respond forcefully.
I am mad about that.
Iran violated their ceasefire agreement. The IDF saying missiles were launched from Iran after the midnight deadline imposed by President Trump.
In just the last few minutes, Israel ordering high-intensity strikes against regime targets.
I think we got everything besides that
and this
heart piece.
violation of the deal comes less than an hour before the President of the United States is expected to leave for
Can you imagine how fucking annoying that would be?
Yeah.
Like, imagine you're Donald Trump and you go to bed, you like, all right, finally I achieved world peace again and I'm going to get the Nobel Prize. You wake up,
and you wake up in the morning.
Oh, out of my
fucking idiots.
Fox and Friends first on a Tuesday morning that is moving very, very rapidly.
That's how I'd feel.
Let's get right to Mike Tobin with the very latest on the ground in Israel. And Mike, here we go again.
Well, things are moving very fast, Carly and Todd. Iranian state TV now denies that they will respond, that the Iranian government, the Iranian military, was responsible for those 1 or 2 missiles.
Can you imagine the phone call that happened between probably the 2 or the 3 of them? I don't know if it was all 3 of them at the same time or, each of them separately. Can you imagine how bad that probably was?
Oh, yeah. I bet he was swearing up I bet Donnie was swearing up a storm.
Missile was intercepted and landed without injury, but not without consequence. As you mentioned, Israel's defense minister and the chief of general staff have now vowed fierce retaliation for the violation of a ceasefire that wasn't quite 4 hours old when those missiles came into the north of Israel. But again, Iran is denying that they took part in that. Now, as the ceasefire was preparing to take hold, about 5 waves of ballistic missiles came in from Iran. One of them hit down here in Beersheba, where I'm standing right now. And as we look behind me, you can see what looks like the impact site from that missile is indeed the impact site from the missile. You can see rescue crews right now going through the rubble, searching for any possible people who are trapped in the rubble. It should be mentioned that no one is missing right now. They're just operating out of abundance.
How come that building's still standing, though?
The rescuers doing today is forming up.
Not a ceasefire?
It's fucked up, but it didn't fall down.
Something as stupid as Iran launched the missiles when there wasn't a ceasefire, and they hit after the ceasefire. Like it
wouldn't surprise me if it was that stupid. Yeah, probably what happened, to be honest. It probably it's not on purpose. It's probably because they fired it up before, and then it landed after. Yeah, probably actually. I can see it.
Where somebody makes the half-court shot.
Yeah, and then fucking
and the time runs out.
It wins the game.
It's a 3-pointer and they win the game.
Mm-hmm. Buzzer beater.
Yes.
Old-fashioned bucket brigade carrying rubble out of that building just to clear as much space as they can. We do know that a family of 4 was inside of the bomb shelter. That bomb shelter took a direct hit. Here is a spokesman from Homefront Command.
That's Israel's
what we understand currently, that the family was inside the shelter.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, when we have a direct hit, a direct strike of a missile in the shelter, it did not always help.
It doesn't help. You heard that? You heard it here first, guys. A direct missile hit to the shelter does not help. That's a fact.
Yeah.
So those bomb rooms do a good job of protecting people in the blast radius, but when you have a powerful warhead like the one that came down here and it takes a direct hit, all 4 of those people perished. There's an additional 26 people who were injured by the force of that blast, and their injuries vary. So we're watching the situation. When these missiles were fired, the Israeli fighter jets were in the air over Iran. They detected the missile launches and struck back at least some of those missile launchers.
My God.
So that has taken place all today. But the situation now, of course, is very fragile with Israel's defense minister and the chief of general staff vowing to strike back at Iran for what they say is a flagrant violation of the ceasefire. Iran now says they didn't do it. You could be looking to one of the other rogue elements, a rogue element inside of Iran, or one of the other proxies.
There's a chance that it was just a miscommunication or somebody fucked up. I mean, it's
that, or I mean, like, there's those other fucking terrorist groups still running around. Who's to say that they didn't do it? Not Iran themselves, but one of these other groups. Except that Iran does fund those other groups, but you know, it might have been some fucking jackass out there. Same thing. Like, let's fire this one off real quick. We got it here already. Some bullshit like that. Like, if it was just like an isolated thing and that hasn't happened again, then I would be willing to just chalk it up to that, move on. Let's remember we're supposed to be getting things chilled out over here, fellas, right?
Seems like Iran is full of the people that run the military, at least, are fucking morons, right? Like, I mean, that's how they just keep getting themselves killed. And so, like, this definitely, it absolutely could have been a fuck up.
That are operating in the region. Guys, back to you.
Really, and Mike, what I'm hearing you say is at least one...
Because again, they're all new to the job, because the people that were on the job before then were dead.
Got killed, yeah.
So it's like, yeah, you've only been doing this for like 6 days, and you just found out I violated the international ceasefire.
Oops.
Oh, I got the wrong time zone. Fuck. Oh, gee. Oh.
Missile was intercepted after the ceasefire went into effect.
It probably is that fucking stupid too.
It took part.
Like, I believe it because it's that stupid.
If not Iran, then who?
Correct. One missile in.
They said they didn't do it.
I'm sorry, my earpiece is going in and out, but at least one missile was intercepted. No injuries reported on the ground. The tops of the Israeli military saying that the ceasefire has been violated and saying that they'll respond.
Yeah.
All right, Mike Tobin live for us in Israel. Mike,
I don't have any explosives though, so
warranted. With that, let us bring in former Deputy National Security Advisor and Heritage Foundation Vice President of National Security, Victoria Coates.
And we all cry. Asma was one of the few people that didn't cry World War III and Trump's a tool for Israel and just called it for what it is. Remember this next time peak? Yeah, I was right about everything. And it was obvious what Trump did. Trump planned this out because you have to keep in mind. And so this
remember when he went to the Middle East like 2 months ago?
Most people don't remember anything, right? And so like they might not remember what happened. Is that Operation Midnight Hammer, where the B-2 bombers blew up all of the nuclear sites? This was wargamed by Israel and Biden. This was in 2024. So this the foundation for this is not new at all. Trump knew that they had this planned out before he went to the Middle East. And so what I think happened is that Trump knew that he had this planned out. He went to the Middle East. He went to all of these other countries. He created a lot of trade relationships with them, established diplomatic, rapport. And now it's like, okay, now we're friends with Saudi Arabia. Now we're friends with Qatar. Bro, like Syria is flying him in with like all these jets. He's meeting with the old ISIS leader and now they're boys. And, he's saying how attractive the guy is. Everything's great. Everything's good. And then so the only person who wasn't invited to that party was Iran. Iran wasn't at the party. And, he was like, yeah, maybe we can try to get them, but we'll see what happens. Then he goes and he attacks the, what do you call it? he attacks these military bases, and obviously, or he attacks the nuclear sites. This was bad, and everybody condemned. They were like, "Oh, this is bad." Everybody's thoughts and prayers. But then, whenever Iran attacked the military base, the American military base in Qatar, Qatar said, "What the fuck are you doing attacking us?
Yeah.
What the fuck are you doing sending missiles over to us?" Now, because Trump had already established that diplomatic relationship from being over there in the first place, because, again, he knew this was going to happen.
Yeah.
That's what I think it was.
Of course.
And he had, this is not even a 500 IQ play. He, again, all of this was laid out in front of him before he even took office.
Mm-hmm.
You see kind of how all this fits together. It was all planned with Qatar. It was.
You heard Mike Tobin say Iran is denying that their government was responsible for these strikes. But assuming that that is not correct, assuming that the Iranian government is ultimately responsible, is this a mere hiccup? Can the ceasefire be saved? Or has Iran potentially crossed a red line from which they cannot come back?
Can I play word in chess? Well, there's a lot of...
For Iran, what would a red line actually be? Shooting a nuke off at somebody. Anything short of that, I mean, you can still try to find some way to have that avoid happening. Because that's really the goal, right? It's just, you don't want that to happen. So the only real red line is that thing actually happening. Otherwise, there's always a chance. You can always make a deal. Pretty much short of that. It might not be easy. Like these guys shooting at each other just after they said, okay, we'll do a ceasefire, and then they shoot off all their shit. Yeah, no, that's going to complicate things, sure. It's still not entirely off the table, but it would have been better if that didn't happen. It'd have been easier to get done. But yeah, I think the red line is a lot further back in the distance than you might think. Ultimately, it'd be better if we just got this taken care of sooner than later, though.
People that, again, the reason why a lot of people get mad is that they don't think about situations as they occur. They think about situations as they imagine them. And I think that a lot of people have imagined scenarios in their mind, and those imagined scenarios end up superseding reality. And so for a lot of these people, it ends up being
people have it in their mind how it is,
this is like the Iraq
and
war.
forget paying attention to what's actually going on,
or something like that. And all of this is an abstraction from the current situation. So fundamentally, these people are operating in a principle that's not relevant to the topic. That's really what's happening.
Or at least far less so than
unfortunately, this is the kind of messy period that generally happens around a ceasefire, where a side that is typically on the losing side is going to try to get a little bit more. They're going to try to have a last strike, something for domestic consumption that they can say that they, are still powerful.
Yeah,
and,
to save face.
We've seen what Iran is capable of.
Yeah.
What they do,
even if you're actually the loser,
because their regime is almost about to collapse anyway. They're about to flop over anyway, so the last thing that they need is to look like they don't have any teeth. Because if that happens, then suddenly people storm the building of the government, and then they're all dead. So they can't let that happen.
Mm-hmm.
Fire at apartment buildings, at families sheltering in bomb shelters. This is hardly the stuff of a great military victory.
Fear-based regime,
Israel, on the other hand, is flying with impunity over Tehran right now, and I'm sure will take another strike on a strategic
and everybody knows
target, something like the missile launchers that will prevent Iran from doing this again. But it doesn't take away from what President Trump...
How do you know Iran's about to collapse? Because all of their leadership has been killed.
The Ayatollah is fucking old.
The person that is the figurehead of their leadership is about to die. He's 86. And also
he's
the
that old?
approval rating of
Fuck,
that
yeah.
leadership government it's below 20%.
Yeah, the people don't like the government in the
Literally
first place over there.
Every single thing points towards it falling apart.
Yeah.
Achieved, which is that he's gotten both sides to agree to a
Might even be the last hurrah for
this
him.
war and consolidate Israel's and America's gains.
So you think that despite the fact that Israel is claiming that Iran launched a missile into Israel, and they're saying that the ceasefire is off, do you think that, like Todd said, could this be a hiccup? Could things proceed more peacefully in the hours to come?
Well, Carly, I never want to refer to the death of a family of four as a hiccup. I mean, we have to
over 80, 20
be
years
mindful
ago?
of the seriousness of that.
Yeah, and
but
Victoria, understood
time,
on that point. The death of the family took place, and
Mm-hmm.
horrible that it happened. It took place before the official ceasefire went into effect, and now that and now we're in a new world where every party agreed to a ceasefire, and then a missile was launched.
It's a different situation now.
How do people proceed forward?
Yeah, it is.
Well, I think that we can proceed forward if the situation calms down, if Israel does take a retaliatory strike, and then we can get back to the ceasefire, because I think Israel has achieved largely their war aims. That's what they said last night. And so I think if the president gets involved,
Freudian slip
if
there
Iran
a little bit, maybe.
understands the seriousness of the situation, and that both Israel and the United States are prepared to go back in if they don't start behaving more rationally.
Yeah, they better start behaving, period.
Is happy with these latest developments out of Israel. How should President Trump
clearly
respond?
not. He's clearly not happy about that.
Well, I think
we saw
President Trump
that.
will respond decisively. I mean, I think he's...
Good call.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nailed it.
Good call.
Going to make very clear to the Iranians these are the terms. They are in an extremely weak position. Both Israel and the United States can act, as I said, with impunity against them. And so it is beholden on Iran now to start becoming a more responsible partner here. They have been given every opportunity, both before this war started, to engage in diplomacy, and now
I think that's interesting language. Iran should be a partner here. I don't know that I've used that sort of language to describe this sort of situation in the past. Like, maybe it's a small thing, but maybe it isn't. Like, that does say something about how this lady views the situation. This is transactional. This is a business relationship. You're involved, therefore you're a partner. Whether you like it or not. I don't know. I think that was just interesting phrasing.
Yesterday, offering them the opportunity to come to the table and come to terms. Now, his patience, as we've discovered, is not infinite.
No, it isn't.
Better shut down now.
Mine would be less, to be fair.
Trump is right. CNN and MSNBC are unbelievable. Glad you're watching Fox now. Well, we might watch something from CNN or MSNBC later on. But the reality is that a lot of this is a big issue that a lot of, like, I think people that are anti-Trump have, is that they would rather a world war break out than for Trump to
get a W. Yeah.
Like, that's what it feels like to me, at least.
Oh, yeah. There's definitely people like that.
And are happy when one of these ceasefires falls through.
Yep.
They're happy when, a negotiation fails. And the ultimate
just because they hate
people
Trump
get killed, and it's death and destruction, ultimately, right? It's bad.
Anything else to give a Trump L,
I think it's
they're
just
okay
gross.
with.
It's weird, man. It's very weird. And even when when Biden was the president, you should still hope and support the president. Like, I still supported Biden as the president. I didn't want Biden to fail, right?
No, because then America
Biden
fails.
That means we all do. At least not we. There's a lot of people here that aren't in the U.S. Like, I'm an American. That means I fail too. And so it's very...
Yeah, you don't want your president to fail regardless of who he is
I hate
in
that.
matters like this.
Mood to make concessions so that we can get to the end of this war.
Yeah, and President Trump is going to be leaving for the NATO summit in just a few hours. What will the conversation during the NATO summit be surrounding all of this?
205 rupees.
Well,
Fuck.
I think
Okay.
it's going to be about the need for NATO to take a lot of responsibility for what's happening in Europe.
Yeah,
this is a big demonstration of all of the obligations the United States has around the world, not just in Ukraine.
Okay, so like Trump woke up yesterday morning, he's got to deal with all this bullshit. He's pissed, and then he's supposed to go to Europe to talk to those guys for completely unrelated reasons. He just happens to have a meeting he's got to go do it to like the heads of states of a lot of the European countries. Which he did later yesterday. I didn't really see much about that though. Or he got there yesterday afternoon, evening, and like whatever he was there for is today, maybe something like that. So I don't know. We'll see what today's news brings. Probably tomorrow, but this guy had a full plate yesterday. Let's put it that way.
Also in the Middle East, also in the Pacific. So I think the president is going to go back to one of his signature issues, which is making the rest of NATO pay its fair share for the defense of the alliance.
Well, they should.
And we have the top 10 economies.
Almost none of them
NATO,
have done that
ever. The
ever.
economy being the United States. The other 9 are clinging at 2% of GDP to defense, not the 3.5 they need to be at. They're not even close.
If they're not paying the money that they're supposed to be paying,
yeah,
then
they're
that's
not
a problem, bro. Like I don't
yeah,
even
almost
see how
none
this
of
is a
them.
question. Like, what do you mean? Like, so you're supposed to have this agreement, and we need to.
Trump
protect
called that
you,
out
but,
a while
you're
ago.
Not putting your money in, we have to put our. What the fuck is going on? Like, I mean, really, this is insane.
So I think he's going to be laying down the law there
Poland and the
and
UK
saying if NATO is going to proceed into the 21st century, if it's
my understanding is that Spain is one of the ones that isn't paying, and I think it could also be Germany, but I could be wrong about Germany. I don't think that I'm wrong about Spain, though.
To be relevant,
yeah, I don't know.
It has to literally have cash on the barrel head here. We don't want pledges. Yeah. We don't want some sort of projection
Spain
of maybe getting to 2% in 3 or 4 years. We want them to pay up now.
Yeah,
assuming for argument's sake that
yeah, they should have been doing it already. They already agreed to it, and they're not doing it.
Some proxy group like Mike Tobin alluded could be the case in light of the fact that Iran is denying that they are involved in this. Did Iran pick this timing in order to embarrass President Trump as he heads to NATO? And if so, how big of a miscalculation is that?
Well, I don't know how
I mean, I don't think they tried to embarrass him. I'm going to be honest.
No.
I really don't think so.
Nah.
Because if they did, I mean, this is the guy.
If they wanted to do that, they could have done something that would have looked worse.
With the fucking B-2 bombers. Do you really want to fuck with this guy again? This is the guy that the day after the 60 days of the negotiations, everybody who negotiated with him was dead.
No, like after the whole we bombed their shit happened, and they called us up and said, I mean, we got to like bomb you back, right? I mean, we just have to. Yeah, they knew what the situation was right then. So I don't see I don't actually see a world where Iran would make an unforced error by then like trying to embarrass Trump. And if they wanted to, there's other things they could have done that would have been more embarrassing. So like I don't think so. Not really. Or if that's what they were going for, they didn't do a very good job. Let's put it that way.
Do you really want to fuck with this guy? I don't even know if they would do that. I'd be surprised if they did.
I don't think so.
It was in terms of embarrassing the president. I would say that it was a miscalculation on the part of Iran.
They might have wanted to, but that's a different thing.
It's kind of this. As I said, this gray zone around the establishment of a ceasefire that it can be kind of a difficult period. But I think the key is for him to send the message to the Iranians that this is unacceptable. That if they want to get to diplomacy, they're going to have to start acting responsibly. And otherwise, he's going to take the gloves back off and let the Israelis go back in.
And this is the statement from Defense Minister Israel Katz. I have instructed the IDF to respond forcefully to Iran's violation of the ceasefire with high-intensity strikes against regime targets in the heart of Tehran.
Can't
so
see anything
with that, would
here.
you say that the war is officially back on right now?
No, there's no way.
Well, let's see what the Israelis actually
I would
do.
say not.
I think some targeted strikes in response to this would be proportionate, and then the ball goes back into the Iranians' court. So I think we'll see what the next couple of hours bring. Yeah. But this was not a good move on the part of the Iranians, but I do think the ceasefire is recoverable.
And finally, Todd alluded to it, but Israel is saying that one missile was intercepted, and Iran is denying that they took part in it.
Maybe they didn't. They're not the only crazy assholes in the region. I mean, really.
Israel able to tell.
Ooh, there we go.
Here's the thing, right? If it's one missile, Iran said they didn't do it, I'd give them the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
I would. Because it's just cleaner than just, than just continuing to go and go and go and go.
If it's just the one, you're probably better off just ignoring it and be like, all right, we good now then, or what?
We haven't figured that out yet, Carly. We will
if that's all it was.
In pretty short order. And I would be a little bit surprised because the Iranian proxies have been remarkable for their silence over the course of this 12-day war.
They've been real quiet here.
Yeah, so what's Hezbollah and Hamas and the Houthis been doing for the last 12 days? Not much of anything, I don't think. That's kind of interesting. And they weren't helping out Iran either. They just, we better fucking lay low for a while. The big dogs are mad and they're off the chain. But nobody, you notice how, at least so far, knock on wood, but nobody rushed to Iran's defense or aid with this situation either at all. I mean, supposedly they do have allies, and trade partners and stuff. I think Russia is one to some degree, and China, and probably some other a few other places too. But it didn't look like to me much that anybody was really helping him out on this one, except there were a few planes that I think were of origin in China that had made some trips to Iran. I'm not quite sure where. I don't know if it was Tehran or somewhere else in Iran. But there's been some Chinese planes, at least a couple of them, back and forth. And it's pretty noticeable because otherwise, if you look at the maps of all the, air traffic, it sticks out like a sore thumb because nobody else is flying over fucking Iran right now. So if you see a plane headed towards that direction, you're going to kind of wonder why. So maybe China is helping them out in some degree. Because otherwise, I mean, normally they would be trading partners and stuff anyways, but it seems kind of sus when nobody else is flying there. This, what kind of act is this? Just delivering the groceries and fucking Temu and Amazon packages or something? Alibaba? Still getting that shit through? Is that all it is? Or is it something else that's, on those planes? So I think it's at least fair to ask that question. But otherwise, nobody's rushing to Iran's aid, at least overtly. In a material way. A bunch of tweets and shit oh, our thoughts are with Iran, blah blah. Well, that's all great, but that's just talk. That doesn't do anything. So you can say, oh my god, this is so bad, and then it looks like you did something, but you didn't do anything. You made a tweet. That's not the same as helping out your homies. So
I'll go ahead. We'll watch this. Here we go. Let's see it. All right. Let me fix the fucking audio.
Did we get all the shit that's down here? No.
There he is.
Good evening, Mr. Medvedev.
Oh, he arrived in Europe. Is that what this is?
No.
Yeah, he's not gonna do a fucking press conference right now.
And that's it.
Yeah.
He just did not give a fuck.
The way he walks it, it's like he feels like he does have the weight on his shoulders. Not like he's defeated, but it is weighing him down.
There it is. Yep, no questions. Don't salute. I mean, it's not his military.
He said hi, everybody.
To do that, I believe.
I'm here.
I'm not an expert in these kinds of things.
That's about it.
He's probably tired. Yeah, I'd be fucking tired too. I'd be exhausted. Holy shit, dealing with this all the time. Oh my god. Yes, no time wasted. Yeah, it seems like there's not really a whole lot going on.
I don't know how some dudes can deal with that level of stress on a regular basis.
Oh,
like,
here we go.
I can't do it. I'm not afraid to say so either. Like, that's too much. If that makes me a pussy, then I'm a pussy, but goddamn.
There in The Hague at NATO for conversations.
It's a lot of stress.
With our partners throughout Europe. And I think that everyone expects that to be very successful. It's going to be a very exciting time. It's a perfect time for those conversations to be had. I mean, I'm not going to speculate.
What is this? This is another thing going on right now.
And speculate on the feelings of people either.
Second question for you.
Yes, sir.
In terms of regime change in Iran, the initial message coming out of the administration was, we're not after regime change, we're after the nuclear.
Yeah, this is live right now.
Then the president.
Why is this doing such a little damage?
Regime change is not a good idea.
Oh, I never went to the. I still don't have the Master Sword. Okay.
Administration, specifically the State Department's message here to Iranians who are suffering under the oppression of the regime. How do they move forward does America have their back, considering the president said regime change is not a good idea right now?
Well, again, that's in the perspective, certainly, of the president.
Was it a mistake to come here? I can't believe this. I don't have the Master Sword, and you need that to, like,
was very clear
hit these things?
From the very beginning. For years, the president has spoken about the problem of Iran and how they can't have a nuclear weapon. This is not a new idea, and it's certainly a globally held idea.
Okay, fine.
Nobody wants him to have it.
I can't kill him with the Kokiri sword at all.
Fuck.
That the fates of countries belong in the hands of the people in those countries. That is the overriding general message of the Marco Rubio State Department. It is the kind of thing that when we think about, not just democracy, but the nature of the decision of citizens.
Who the fuck is this lady?
What kind of leadership they want. That is what our position is for certainly Iran and every other country on
That's
this
smart, yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Iranians need to decide that.
Yeah, they gotta do it for themselves.
Message from Iran that they are willing to come back to the table. This first, and secondly, are you still sticking with the proposal that you sent to Iran, or you are open to discuss more broadly?
Well, again, as we know, many things have changed
the volume
in
good?
just the last
I'll
few
turn it up a little bit more.
And so I won't speak to what messages may have been sent to Iran, which would have been, of course, to the White House.
That's not.
And to if Secretary Rubio as the National Security Advisor. So I would ask you to check with the White House for that.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. On your opening remarks.
That is it 100%.
Is ready to help the Syrian government to fight.
I don't know why the audio is so fucked up right now.
Create instability. Would you elaborate that? What kind of support are you willing to offer to the Syrian interim government? Are you willing to help them or provide them military support?
Well, I think already we know, of course, of the assignment as a special envoy of Ambassador Tom Barrack. Has been a very clear indicator of our commitment to helping Syria be able to be a functional and steady and stable government. He, of course, is the ambassador to Turkey, and our commitment through his work is about getting the structure, the stability of the government as functional. We also, of course, as you know, have lifted many of the sanctions to make it possible for other nations in that region to assist the new government also in
no surprise
stronger,
there
and able to in that region especially deal with terrorist groups, especially deal with ISIS, and that is our commitment. So it is I think manifesting now very clearly, And Ambassador
I have that already.
is there as our envoy in that regard, and it's a very exciting time with a lot of potential. Yes, sir.
Is Warproof's Trump truly is the chosen one?
Yes, sir.
Well, we don't know yet.
You've been in the negotiation.
It's funny, so many of these have been
for almost the last 2 months at the State Department.
Yeah, people are not sure.
And the Iranian foreign minister just last Friday, he said that they suspect that the negotiations with the U.S. Used as a cover for the Israeli attack. And a day after that came the U.S. raid on Iranian nuclear establishment there.
Oh, so is he trying to say that while we were still in negotiations with Iran, they were just like fucking stalling to like keep refining and get something out of it before they have to pull the plug, or what? Because that means they weren't serious about negotiations. They were just like stalling for time. They had no intentions of actually negotiating in good faith. They were just stalling for time. Maybe. I mean, I could see that.
It was supposed to be a chosen one. Look how he turned out. That was, good point. Great point.
Restore the trust between you and Iran. And how do you see these claims from the Iranian side?
Well, that's certainly a question that I can't answer, but we've got the best people in the
She's
world
not answering
who are doing
any
this
questions.
for a living, who have committed their lives to making a difference here in the world. The president
She's just
has not
handing out
indicated
platitudes.
As a matter of fact, he really opened his presidency with a willingness to talk with everyone.
That is true.
I just wonder if that's going to happen now.
And I would suspect that that approach will continue.
How much do you want to bet that Trump just saying fuck boosted his approval ratings?
It probably did.
I bet it did.
Do you think there was any lesson
like for real, it probably did.
Yeah, I think it absolutely is.
Facilities, given that
Well,
North Korea has been
like I said, I respect where he's coming from on that one. I really do. So, like, I mean, yeah, I'm probably not the only one that thinks that. So, yeah, it actually probably did. I mean, whoever said that probably was being sarcastic and meant it as a joke. Yeah, he says, fuck on TV. His ratings will probably go up. Yeah, he probably will, actually. I mean, that kind of depends on what happens next, but yeah, probably. Yeah, probably. What else do you say? Everybody saw it. People that like him, people that are indifferent to him, people that hate him. They all got to see the same interview, right? So. It's kind of funny, though. Yeah. Probably did actually boost his appeal, even though it shouldn't. Oh, by the way, he wasn't the only one that swore in politics yesterday. So did Jasmine Crockett, and kind of so did J.D. Vance. I wonder if he'll show that or if it happened later. If we'll just let this continue, but if it doesn't, like I'm pretty sure I like reposted it on Twitter so I can find it. Yeah, entertaining day from yesterday, and not just him. So
doubling down on his nuclear program, despite the Trump administration's commitment.
They told him not to do it.
Denuclearization of North
They said do not,
well,
and
again,
they do it.
The nature of the choices
that's the problem.
That are made,
yeah, no, they just got to listen
about what other countries should think or do. At the same time, President Trump, in his first term, made a significant outreach to North Korea. And,
he did actually.
But I can say, of course,
yeah, he did.
The nuclear program at North Korea, that we remain committed to the complete denuclearization.
He probably actually, now that I think about that, that is actually true, and I was highly critical of Trump in his first term. It's fair to say that I didn't like him at all, for a lot of reasons. But he did actually reach out to Kim Jong-un, and we'll never know, but who knows what would have happened had he not done that. Okay? I mean, you take a calculated risk anytime you have any of these sort of interactions, right? But he went in there trying to, like, kind of be his buddy, right? And I think it kind of works. I mean, like, North Korea is just still doing, like, whatever they do in their own country, but I don't think they've really fucked with us much in any significant way. Like, you know, those guys must have got, like, some kind of basic understanding hashed out. And by the way, like, Kim Jong-un, he was educated in Europe, I believe. Like, he can speak English. He was raised like in high school and college, very exposed to Western culture. All that kind of stuff. Which I think, you know, Trump knew that. And I don't know. At least they got along well enough to, you know, we didn't really get hassled by North Korea at all. I forgot about that. See, you forget about things when they go right. You remember stuff that went wrong. You know, I think that is, to be fair, that is, I think, worth keeping in mind. Is actually he did do that, and he stuck out that, I don't know if you would call it an olive branch exactly, but he did do the same thing for Putin, which is why he thought that he would be able to just call him up and be like, yo, you knocked that shit off with Ukraine. I believe he genuinely thought he was going to be able to do that, because he had extended that same sort of olive branch to Russia, which I think is a good idea. If you know, you're a head of state of a powerful country in the world, it behooves you to have some kind of dialogue and rapport with people that I wouldn't even go so far as to say are enemies, but are counter to you just as much as your allies. I mean, you need to, if you're going to have that job, you got to, like, have an established rapport with everybody, basically. And I do think that Trump made an effort to do that, because same thing. If you're a used car salesman, everybody's your friend. Because that's how you're going to make your sale, right? So, like, I feel like he kind of employed that same sort of diplomacy, which, again, stupidly works more than you think, because, yeah, it just, I don't know. And that probably happens a lot more behind the scenes than we think it does, but we've gotten to watch this happen, kind of with the veil pulled back a little bit. I think that's the difference. But that's right. He did have, you know, some sort of diplomacy with North Korea, which, who knows? We haven't had a real serious situation with him since. He went over there because we kind of were starting to get a little worried about what they had going on over there. Not saying he shut that down, but, you know, like, looking back at it, like, 8 years later, well, I mean, they've more or less left us alone. It's not any seriously bullshit like we're dealing with today, right? So, yeah, that was probably actually a good call on his part. I didn't give him probably enough credit for that at the time, but looking back at it now, like, yeah, it was probably a good decision that he did that. Thank you, Donald. don't worry, he'll do something else that I actually really don't like, and I won't be afraid to say so. Like the Trump phone, the Trump coin, the Melania coin. I got all kinds of things that I don't like that he actually is okay with, right? But, you know, that's okay. That doesn't mean that everything that he does is bad. Just means that some things I'm going to think are bad. But that's true with anybody else, too. So, same thing. It's just another human. Some shit I agree with him on, some I don't. That's okay. As long as he does more things that I agree with, or things that I agree with that are more impactful, maybe more importantly, then yeah, I'm going to have a net positive opinion of that person, whoever it is. Like, I could say the same thing about Bernie Sanders for the most part. Like, I agree with him more often than I don't. I appreciate the fact that he exists, but there's some things that I vehemently disagree with him on. But yeah, I still appreciate that he's out there doing what he's doing, because again, like, there's things that he champions that I do agree with. So there you go. It's a mixed bag all the time. Anybody that thinks everybody's going to be perfectly aligned with your ideals and views, and that's your friends, and anybody that doesn't do that is your enemy, like, that's absolutely crazy. That's not how the real world works. If I agree with you 90% of the time, but you're going to hate me for the 10% of the time that I don't agree with you, then you're not being genuine yourself. In which case, I just don't want anything to do with you. Or, is he a senator or representative? John Fetterman. He's a big dude. Usually wears like just a sweatshirt, hoodie, and some sweatpants. And he's like a senator for like Pennsylvania or something. And he's a Democrat. But like, I agree. Same thing with that guy. Like, I agree with him at least as often as I don't. Because there's some things I don't, that he's like, you know, talked about and said what his beliefs is. It's like, okay, no, not for me, dude. But like these other things, I completely agree with you on. So like, you got at least a little, I don't know, like common ground, right? I think that just because your common ground is not 100%, it does not make them your enemy. If you think like that, you're dumb. Sorry, we got off a bit of a tangent here, but I was thinking about that earlier for that same reason. Because, I mean, like, some things Trump does, I like. Some things, I think he's fucking retarded. Same for a lot of these other guys. It's just what issues those are different. That's all. But, you know, it's a lot easier to treat somebody like a human if you appreciate the common ground that you do have, and can also see the differences, I think. Because I think in the same way that, like, not agreeing with somebody or having the same values with anybody at all makes it easy for you to dehumanize them, I think that there's also that dynamic also works in reverse the other way, where you also dehumanize people that agree with you 100% or claim to. Mostly because, like, it seems fake if that's the case, and it probably is. You know, so I think that's actually pretty important. You know, look at the full spectrum and appreciate it for what it is, and then decide, you know, what you want to support and who you want to support, and based off of those things. Not just, well, they're a Democrat, fuck them, or, you know, whatever. Like, it doesn't need to be that tribalistic. I think you probably lost the plot in politics if you do this tribalism thing. And the sad part is that's actually the case for us in America. You know, you've got the two parties that hate each other more than they love whatever they're actually trying to do. And yeah, that's the difference, right? They'd rather see World War III than Donald get a W. That's fucked up. But there are people that are actually like that. And the other way around too. The other side's got just the same problem on far end. But yeah, like, don't be one of those people. If you are, you're dumb. You're just a sheep. You're an NPC. You're just following the herd. You're not thinking for yourself. And God may God have mercy on your soul.
Of North Korea,
Khamenei
that
announced the
remains
war's over.
a commitment.
Is that
if
true?
the North
Let me
Korean
see. I'll pull it
nuclear
up.
issue can't be resolved through
I didn't see
dialogue,
anything that
I'm not
Khamenei said the
gonna
war was over.
speculate on hypotheticals at this point, but thank you very much. All right. Yes, there you are. Hello.
To follow up on North Korea, has there been
North Korea? What the fuck are they thinking about North Korea for?
I'm not going to speak to any, whether they exist or not, any diplomatic efforts outside.
Yeah, no, like.
All right. And yes, go ahead.
North Korea,
I just wonder whether you have any
leave them out of it.
information on reports of a drone attack that happened.
I'm not seeing anything them saying that the war is over.
Sites early this morning local time.
Yeah, I don't see
Oh,
that
there we go.
Do you know at all whether Iran was behind those drone attacks at all?
I would suggest that the DoD might be the place that it might have an answer to that. Anything else?
Yeah, that's about it.
Daphne, you're good. All right.
We're running out of open world
Does
stuff
it
to
seem
get
like every
to.
peace loving Democrats pissed off at Trump enforcing the ceasefire?
From those nuclear sites.
Because they don't love peace at all. They just hate Trump.
Nothing. I can tell you nothing.
Yeah, that's the problem.
It's something that is not advantageous for them. These people don't have any values anyway. The only value that they have is achieving power and maintaining it. That's it. That's all they care about.
Yeah, a lot of people have that affliction, though.
And that's both parties. It's not
Yeah, it
just
is.
a Democrat thing.
Yeah, it's not just Democrats.
Don't confuse yourself and think that they have a moral position. They don't.
No.
You know, when it comes
They're just
to,
there for power
what's
and money, and they don't give a shit about what the actual
we can look
politics.
back, several decades about the nature of the choices.
It's a
that,
huge problem in the
certain
U.S.
Administrations made. That
I don't know
help
how you fix
facilitate
it.
The nature of the building of that program. Donald Trump inherited a world. He'd left a world that
Trump
was
looking
at
good
peace,
makes them look bad.
and he
Yeah,
inherited
exactly.
One that was,
Yeah, they can't let him have a W no matter what.
And so his commitment and what we look at here right now is recognizing the status of things and what needs to be done to fix them. And that's what we're focused on. All right. And Matt Lee, I have a feeling you might have a question. I vaguely remember that.
But now it turns out that.
Oh, you have a different
Must have been cheating on a test. Yeah, no, I'm just saying in general. I think that's true.
All I
do.
was trying to find out was whether you didn't mention it.
Both parties ultimately have the same goal. They just present it differently.
That he is, but
sometimes.
Not all the time.
Wrongfully detained.
We have determined that he has been disappeared.
And that also
he's
depends
not
on how
been-
cynical your view of the world
And
is.
that is why there's the rewards for justice. Is that he was taken, and he has not been heard from since. And we are hoping that this appeal may bring forward with up to
Big Goran's sort of
$5 million.
nice.
Makes a difference in everyone's lives. That we might get some
$5 million.
information
That's a
about.
lot of money.
Then just the other thing.
I want $5 million.
You had been asked earlier
Me too.
yesterday, I think.
I'd be fine for the rest of my life on
about
$5 million.
This money that is
Easy.
apparently going to go to fund the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation. Have you
Yes.
been able
Oh,
to
yeah.
uncover anything about that?
Well, here's what has always been the case with the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation. I now know that there's, I think it's
Who? I'm not
close to
sure.
44 million.
We still
meals-
don't have explosives
44
at
million
all?
meals that have been distributed.
No.
Which is a pretty darn good record.
This is,
and they
by the way,
continue now at
100% the right way to approach it.
We have repeatedly noted that we have not funded this entity, but it is, I believe, really the response of the call from President Trump for that region and that.
You don't
that
need $5
area in
million?
particular, that we've
Everybody
gotta
needs
have new
$5 million.
ideas about how
Yeah,
to change
everybody
the
needs
nature of
$5
what's
million.
occurring.
Come on.
The region has stepped up. Other nations have stepped up,
Mm-hmm.
agreeing that the situation in Gaza has to be dealt with differently.
Yeah.
We have to refuse to let it continue. And while we have a humanitarian crisis,
No, she's completely
manifesting,
right about this.
Is to do our best in an area that a terrorist group refuses to cooperate, ignores ceasefires, continues to hold hostages, and refuses to put down their weapons, that we are committed to endorsing, helping, promoting efforts to make a difference.
Yep.
When it comes to how that will manifest for the GHF,
Give them
I
food.
can't say right now. But again, it's nice to know that 44 million meals have been distributed. That, like everything else for the last few days in the Middle East, everything has changed. How that manifests in the Gaza Strip is yet to be determined, but I'm sure we have another briefing on
the
Thursday,
dynamic
and
has
who
shifted
knows
and it
what
hasn't settled
something
yet, so it's
well. Right,
you
yes,
can
go ahead. And this will
predict
be-
that.
Jamie, this weekend Keith Kellogg went to Belarus and it secured the release of 14 political
Yes.
prisoners. Do you have any more details on those efforts? And did the Lukashenko regime get anything?
This is something else. I'll turn this down just and talk about this just for a second. Is that like, yeah, I totally agree with that. I think the reason why Hamas is so powerful and like why they haven't been like why they maintain such a power structure is like obviously number one, they're being funded by Iran, right? That's bad. But then there's also the component that they control all of the supply lines. Yeah. And so a lot of the people there, like they have to rely on Hamas for food. So if you can go around the middleman and get the food directly to those people, it effectively weakens their grip on the population.
Yeah, well, they don't need Hamas for food then if they're getting the food from somewhere else.
We don't need to rely on these crazy terrorists in order to take care of ourselves. Then that's the point where people stop, supporting them. That's the point where people are able to at least fight back at least a little bit against them. Feels kind of unlikely that would really happen, but it's more likely if people feel like they have a second option. And I think that's really what could happen. That's the best case scenario. And so, people trying to get the food or getting killed by IDF, stop being ignorant. Well, that's bad too, right? I mean, what does that matter? Like, so if the IDF is doing something bad, does that mean that the strategy of doing it is somehow bad? That doesn't even make sense. I think that you're just probably mad for some other reason, and you're trying to come up with something to get you upset about. But no, I think that's stupid. The fact is, like, no, I'm completely right about this. That strategy is 100% the effective strategy, and that's it. Netanyahu, oh, finally, bro. So he finally decided to not do this. Let's see what he said. Oh. Let's see. I'll go back and I'll get this. This is from what just happened. And if Iran is so nutty, why did they de-escalate the situation by warning America about their missiles on Qatar? Because a lot of people that are crazy instantly become less crazy whenever they're faced with complete annihilation. Most people that, you would predict are like some kind of crazy, fucking like a zealot or something like that. They're not really zealots. They're not really crazy. They're just like this because they think that that's an effective way of strategizing, right? That's it.
Because they haven't been checked on. As soon as you do,
yeah, definitely.
They'll knock it off because their sense of self-preservation will kick in, right?
No, that's why Iran won't use nuclear weapons even if they have it. They're not crazy.
Oh, because they
but it's too much of a risk, right? I mean, like, again, like them bombing some random areas, like that's a risk that you can afford to take. But whenever it comes to nuclear weapons, even if there's a 1% chance of that, it's still a risk that you can't take. So it's different.
Straight to a Fox News alert, President Trump says he's unhappy with both Israel and Iran, saying both nations violated their bilateral ceasefire agreement.
The president warning Israel that any military action will go against the deal after a senior Israeli official told Fox News that they will have to retaliate with force against Iran's missiles.
So the president right now is heading to the Netherlands to meet with NATO leaders. Here's what he said.
I don't know if this will work or not. I can't get back out of there. It would if it were not for that.
Now, there was one rocket that I guess were fired overboard. It was after the time limit, and it missed its target. And now Israel's going out. These guys got to calm down. Ridiculous.
Yeah. Good.
I didn't like plenty of things I saw yesterday. I didn't like the fact that Israel unloaded right after we made the deal.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They didn't have to unload.
The most bad faith action that you can possibly take. The moment that you get a timeline on the ceasefire, you try to bomb them as much before the ceasefire is over. Come on.
Yeah.
And I didn't.
That's some degenerate behavior. What the fuck?
But in all fairness, Israel unloaded a lot, and now I hear Israel just went out because they felt it was violated by one rocket that didn't land anywhere. That's not what we want, I'll tell you. And I'm telling you, I'm not happy about that, Israel, either.
Yep.
All I do is play both sides. I'm going now, as you know, to NATO. Some of you are going with me, and I think it's going to be successful. We'll see. I'll let you know.
I think so.
Are you going to envy the agreement? It's a new dawn in the Middle East. Thanks to the agreement you managed to achieve
What are your future plans for the region, for Saudi Arabia, Israel, Gaza, be hostages?
Look, you're asking me about women in the Middle East. It's getting a lot better. Things are happening at a high level. As you know, Saudi
He's
Arabia...
right about that. He is right. I mean, women's rights, it seems like, at least in Saudi Arabia, from what I've observed, have
in my
advanced.
lifetime, yeah, it's gotten better for them.
Sounds crazy, but
they can drive. I think, like in Saudi Arabia, they used to have to be accompanied by a man in public at all times. Now they don't have to do that. Things like that. Like, yeah, I mean, like, it's getting better for them there.
Again, like,
it happens a lot slower than you might want, but it's happening.
Right? I mean, like, they can do whatever they want to do. But, like, the fact is that they are making a lot of advancements. It's a huge W, and that's positive.
I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure they're allowed to, women I'm talking about. They can drive. They don't have to be accompanied by a man. Maybe they eased up the restrictions on their attire. I'm not actually sure about that. I think they're allowed to get an education. You know, so, I mean, I don't think any of those things were true when I was a kid. Like, all of those were off the table for women, and at least in some places in the Middle East, now it's not. So, I mean, progress has been made. That's a good thing. And that happened by itself. We didn't do anything for that, or at least not. We didn't shove it down their throat and force them to. Some of them just, like, you know, as the new generations take over, you know, their perspective on things is different than like what our parents or grandparents was, and you know, that's just naturally, you could expect those things to happen. It can go the other way too, for the same reasons, but. Yeah, I mean, I think that's like going in the right direction. I think that's generally a good thing. I mean, a guy like Trump would be like, yeah, they're getting a little more civilized. Okay, yeah. You could put it that way, I guess. Thanks, Grandpa. But yeah, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, right. It's a good thing. And it's good that the rest of the world recognizes that, because that's positive reinforcement for those kind of changes.
Coming out.
It's a good thing.
Far faster than I thought. So we're very happy about what's happening with women in the Middle East.
No, I'm talking about the...
Laws don't change culture, but they do over time. Think about the laws, like, you know, whenever they changed, you know, they made civil rights laws, it's not like they just made racism illegal, but like the laws dictate the way people can behave. And so it creates a ripple effect that happens 10, 20, 30 years down the line.
Yeah, in the next generation.
On in the Middle East that you managed to achieve last night.
And also a good point.
You know, the region is going to a new place with the peace agreements. Can you talk what's the Sukkah plan for Gaza with the hostages?
It's a new dawn. I appreciate the question. You're very nice. Who are you?
Thank you. I'm Nariya Kraus from Israeli Channel for 2 years.
Well, we have to have Israel calm down because they went on a mission this morning. I got to get Israel to calm down now.
Yeah.
Did you guys speak with Prime Minister? Did you talk to Prime Minister Netanyahu last night?
I took everybody.
Yeah, he talked to him. What a surprise.
You know,
both sides not to violate the ceasefire, but reports coming from the region suggest that the sides accuse each other for violating the ceasefire. So
I think they both violated it. I don't think I'm not sure they did it intentionally. They couldn't rein people back. I don't like
so you see how he does this, right? Is like he says like, oh, well, maybe you didn't do it on purpose. The reason why he says
gives them an out.
That isn't because he believes it. It's because basically if they want to acknowledge later on that they fucked up, it gives them an out to where like they don't have to admit that they were wrong.
Yes.
It's an easy out.
The fact that Israel went out this morning.
I really hate that I learned about this kind of shit from a fucking salesman.
I'm going to see.
He wasn't a car salesman, but he might as well have been. The psychology of I guess it'd be the psychology of negotiation.
I think it's been completely
Just all the, like, not even political negotiation, just at all.
Did an unbelievable job. And you know, the fake news, like CNN in particular, they're trying to say, well, I agree that it was destroyed, but maybe not that destroyed.
We saw this part. I'm going to skip ahead.
You know what they're doing? They really hurt the people. And the people that run it, nobody even knows it's been sold so many times. But the people that run it ought to be ashaame.
Fucking CNN, nobody wants that garbage.
He heads it. He's a disgrace.
Just sell it to the next sucker.
Disgrace.
Where is that? There it is.
The peace agreement, the ceasefire agreement. Do you believe that Iran is still committed to cease?
Yeah, I do. They violated it, but Israel violated it too.
Yeah, so fuck them both.
Israel, as soon as we made the deal, they came out and they dropped a load of bombs, the likes of which I'd never seen before.
Roach behavior.
The biggest load that we've seen. I'm not happy with Israel.
Big load.
I'm impressed that he's saying that.
Now you have 12 hours. You don't go
to
out
be
in the
honest
first
with you.
hour and just drop everything you have on them. So I'm not happy with them.
Yeah.
I'm not happy with Iran either. But I'm really unhappy if Israel's going out this morning because the one rocket that didn't land, that was shot, perhaps by mistake, that didn't land. I'm not happy about that. You know what? We basically have two countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the they're doing. Do you understand that?
Oh. Did they bleep it out? Oh my God, bro, why? That's the president.
Yeah, come on.
You can't censor the president.
We paid for this and voted for it.
That's what a lot of people are talking about, the expletive at the end, but that's he just being.
We deserve to hear the swear word he said at least.
Before we just went on air.
See, this is
regardless of what you think
I've been waiting
about
on this for a while.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest. Like, I have been so fucking tired of a bunch of pussy ass chicken shit language where you're not really expressing what you feel. Like, bro, lay it on, say it how it is. Thank God. Like, that's it.
Yeah,
and you know who causes that problem? Karens cause that problem. That's the one. And again, the thing is, he's not mad. None of them are mad. And like they get it. Everybody gets it. Yeah, of course. Because that's just the way it is. It's HR speak. Yeah. Stop trying to turn every aspect of human life into being accountable to HR.
For the 8 o'clock hour.
At a fucking accounting office.
Yeah, because nobody likes that anyway.
What's really going on? He had just hung up with Bibi Netanyahu, the prime minister, and he said that the prime minister is bringing all the planes back. I said, why are you so frustrated with Israel? And he says because he didn't feel like it was good faith. That
it wasn't.
Even though they still had some time.
Yeah, it totally wasn't.
It was. It was some roach shit. Like, it was. Everybody knows it is. Like, it's not even... Like, anybody thinks that that's not some bullshit. Like, obviously, it 100% is bullshit.
Yes, it is. They didn't need to do it.
Essentially unloaded on Iran. I said, what about Iran as it relates to some of the reports that they're still doing their program? He says they got to save face for the country. They still got to appear to be strong. But he goes, their program is done. He said, our pilots fixed all of that when they hit their targets there. But he goes, I'm not happy with both of them, but more so Israel, because he goes,
because Israel's supposed to be on our fucking side.
Yeah, exactly.
We're going to bat for Israel. We're trying to help Israel. And then they go and they pull this roach shit that makes Trump look like a clown.
Yeah,
so
fuck
this guy
that.
Goes, he's bombing people because you don't have the missiles that are big enough. He brings in this massive fucking, all of these jets, fucking, $100 million operation, blows up the nuclear sites, and nobody gets hurt, and you didn't even have to fucking do anything. And all you have to do is stop attacking, and you won't do
it. Yeah, fuck
how
that.
Fucking annoying that would be. It's so disrespectful.
I actually agree with this.
It's massively say thank
because
you.
If you zoom out, that's all it is.
Thank you. And then they want more fucking money.
It's like some fucking 5-year-old behavior. This is what you're dealing with.
Done. The program is done.
Well, and he also said in that press conference,
Israel did 95% of the work. Yeah, they did 95% of the work, and they never would have gotten all the way if it wasn't for the B-2 bombers. That's right. They even said that. They could not have blown up those fucking bases.
No, they couldn't finish the job.
That's why we did.
We let them do everything except the thing they needed us for. Then we came in and did that. That makes sense.
Iran
Smart.
targeted them
brought in
after
the deleted
ceasefire,
pixels?
but it was one missile that went nowhere, he said. So for Israel to retaliate against that when nothing happened with that Iranian missile, he doesn't feel like that was in Israel's, they shouldn't have done that, he said.
It's absolutely not good faith.
No, it's
Nobody, of course it's not.
I'm all for Israel hitting every target possible within those final 8 hours.
Totally not.
No, why would you do that?
Absolutely 100% not. That is...
okay. The only reason I can see any sort of justification for that is if they were targeting specific strategic sites that they hadn't gotten rid of yet, but considered like they had to get rid of it, right? Which is why they went in there to begin with. If that's the reason why, then, I mean, that bears some discussion. Did they really have to hit those places? Why did they so badly want to get that done before they couldn't stop shooting? I think it's a reasonable question to ask that if that's what was going on. Otherwise, if it wasn't that, if it wasn't necessarily strategic, and it really was just, well, we already got the fucking bombs loaded up, so we might as well shoot them off. Well, that's a different thing. But either way, it'd have been better probably if it didn't happen at all, unless those strategic sites that they were trying to target were really goddamn important to getting taken care of. I don't know. That might make the difference depending on what it is. Otherwise, they're just being assholes. It's one of the two. Either they were really still trying to go after something, or at that point they were just being vindictive assholes. And I think it's probably the second choice more than the first, but it's, Oh, I don't have the boss key for this? I have the boss soul, but not the boss key. Seriously? Really? Damn it. Anyway, okay, so we still don't have explosives. Fuck. We've got just about everything else. Where should we go if we don't have explosives? I guess we could do Gerudo Fortress.
Roach behavior. The ceasefire, it is a cooling... No, bro. Like, if you're shooting people up until the end of the ceasefire, this isn't really a ceasefire. It's just a break.
100 launchers hiding under tunnels. There's other people. There's other assassinations got to take place.
I think if you're negotiating a ceasefire, this is like the one thing you shouldn't do is shit like this, right?
And now they're dead. They're dead. They're fucking dead. We killed them. Israel killed them. What do you need to? What the fuck do you want? If they have new ones, then we'll blow those up too, and we'll kill the new guys. If they do it again, it's not a big deal. What do we need to do this forever?
No, no, we don't. It's definitely not.
What the president's referring to, and I think he's right, I don't know if they can do it, but when you have Iran's chief nuclear scientist, Mohammad Eslami, say on Tuesday, they're going to immediately tell Mir News, they're immediately going to start again with their nuclear program. I mean, that's like in your face to us and to Israel.
But we knew they were going to do that.
No. See, the thing is, that doesn't even bother me.
No, they just told you what they were doing.
That's even true.
I wouldn't get too bad about that.
They are fucked right now. They are massively fucked. They got their dick cut off.
Iran,
They got all three of them cut off. This is a bad time.
Yeah.
And so, of course, they've got to go out and say shit like that. Because, again, they are a fear-based military theocracy that thrives on the public being terrified of them. So the moment that they don't project strength is the moment that they immediately fucking lose. and they lose the support of the people.
Yeah, they can't afford to ever show that.
Why they do that.
They can't ever show
Trump
weakness.
Knows, and Netanyahu knows whether they're actually building a new fucking base, right? You really think they can't figure this out? They figured out what apartment building their leaders lived in, okay? Like, obviously, they're going to know if they're going to build a new fucking base. So let them say whatever the fuck they want. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what they're saying. It matters that they're building a base.
Or if I talk to these cows or not.
Yeah, a kitten isn't scary. Exactly, yeah.
We saw those trucks
That's how I
removing
see it.
some
Maybe
of
I'm
the
crazy, but that's
enriched
just me.
uranium out of the facilities. Mike
That was
Tobin
before we
confirmed
hit.
that, exactly. So where is that enriched uranium? We saw those 5 planes go in from China, go into Iran. Did they take enriched uranium back to China to protect it?
What about those planes from China?
Iran was preparing to get blasted. Where is that enriched uranium? But I have faith in this president, and I appreciate hearing.
Do you really think that they don't know where the uranium went?
Yeah, they know.
This to me is like, this is the funniest thing, is that there are like all of these satellite photos that are publicly available, and the internet is like circle jerking each other and be like, oh, but they didn't even see this. Do you really think they didn't see this? You really think they didn't know?
You think you're smarter than the military? No.
It's unbelievable. How the fuck do you think that?
Him say they will never have nuclear facilities again.
But here's the other issue. They have to stop financing all their proxies. Ceasefire is great, but if you want to get to the next step, I don't know how you enforce this. Hamas can't get another dollar. Houthis can't get another dollar.
He's right.
And Hezbollah can't get another dollar. They did not back Iran when the chips were down.
They didn't back Iran because they knew that it was over. That's the reason why.
There wasn't any reason to do it.
Yeah. Hezbollah, Hamas, the Houthis, what were they doing whenever the B-2 bombers showed up?
Nothing.
You saw the sky started mixing pixels? What did the Hezbollah say? Nothing. Fucking nothing. They didn't say a goddamn thing. Yeah. So, no. And again, they're hiding. Yeah, they're roach out. Exactly. So you need to worry about it.
Russia and North Korea either did China. So we got to make sure that they just can't reconstitute.
You're speculating from your room? Yeah, but isn't it crazy that, like, I'm sitting in my mom's attic and I've been right about pretty much every single action that's happened? Isn't that crazy? And all of the people on Twitter that are like, panic baiting and everything, they all ended up being wrong. Everybody was wrong except for me and like a handful of other people. So, like, what are the odds with that? That's crazy. Wow.
Yeah.
Back here in 18 months.
But if they do, Israel
it's fucking annoying because he pretty much has been right about this too.
And look what our military did on Saturday. They could do that again.
It's annoying when somebody that they know that they're doing that, they kind of push it in your face a little bit, but
they can't.
The thing is, he's not wrong.
From both sides, and Hamas has got to be finished. And in a couple of weeks, I guess they're going to look to talk and get the
I was right about everything.
They have no more money flowing to them right now. No more money flowing to Hezbollah. If that stays the same, then we could watch these guys wither. Lebanon could actually get Lebanon back.
Brian, from an ideology standpoint, I agree with you. I agree with you that this is something that is deeply rooted in the radical Islamic ideology there in Iran, and they're never going to stop. But I do see the president points up, you got to get people.
This is beyond Trump. I don't think he's solving this, and multiple presidents couldn't.
You might be surprised. I don't know.
I think that a lot of problems are a lot easier to solve than you might imagine.
Yeah.
And people have tried to make the public believe that they're complicated, because understanding and believing that things are complicated makes things more advantageous for the people that have it in their best interest for the public to believe that.
Yes.
That's what my opinion is. It's the same thing as, like, remember all those Doge cuts, and it's like, all of the retirement programs are in like a cave.
Yeah, why was that?
What are you talking about? All of it is in a cave.
And it was like,
who decided this?
Yeah, why?
So, no, I don't think multiple presidents. No, the thing is that things are the same until they change. And I feel like my point with saying that is that you should not discount somebody being able to come in and actually make a difference. Now, will Trump do that? I hope so, but I don't know.
piece of shot because he's not only dealing with Iran, but he also has to at least appear to the Muslim world, to the UAE, to Egypt, to Jordan, that he's trying to get a close to this. So working a lot of different factions.
No, I mean, like, again, like Yemen doesn't like the Houthis. Lebanon probably doesn't like Hezbollah. Like, I bet a lot of the Palestinians hate the fucking Hamas. The entire idea that there's like some sort of camaraderie between these terrorists and the people that are their active primary victims is fucking delusional.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Delusional. Yemen hates them. Yeah, like they're allies of convenience. Yes, and of course, and this is the reason why those people.
Well, they're being held hostage.
Is because they control food supply lines.
Yeah, the people are being held hostage.
Operate through fear. But does that really mean that they are liked by the public? Does that really mean that they're loved by the people? Absolutely fucking not.
As you know, Iran is enemies to all those countries.
100%.
They just don't want to come out and say it.
Because of their people.
Right.
Wrong perspective is about stability, not backing your friends. Yeah, I know, but these people are destabilizing forces. And that's what I was saying before, that offering aid to Gaza directly and, giving that money and that food to Palestinians directly, rather than doing it and having it overtaken by Hamas, is how you get that stability for those people in a direct way where the gatekeeper for that stability is not a terrorist organization.
The Ayatollah. Most of the Iranians don't like this regime, but they have a lot of power.
The mullahs and the clerics.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
Yeah, and that's what I think, at least, right? War's infinitely more destabilizing than a corrupt regime. Well, I think that both of them are bad, right? I mean,
you don't want either one.
But like, that's just generally what I think about it. Let's see. So apparently he actually stopped popping off. Thank God.
He did.
And let's see. I'll read a few more of these.
For how long?
They just hijack whatever way you get to the citizens. Well, no, because they're probably going to be afraid to do that if it's coming directly from the U.S. or it's coming from like a stronger power, because they'd be worried about repercussions. Like, again, like Hamas and all of these guys, like, again, they're not stupid. Like you read like some of the statements made by these guys that are leading like Hezbollah and Hamas. These are well-educated, intelligent people.
No, you have to be to run that kind of a group, sure.
Didn't he go to like Cambridge or something? These guys aren't retards.
Yeah, or Oxford
or some shit. At least the ones that are on top of like, even Khomeini. Khomeini's not a retard. He's very well-educated.
Yeah, they're not stupid. They're just fucking crazy.
So they're not stupid.
That's different.
But they're trying to maintain a power dynamic. And they know where, and again, keep in mind, that's the reason why they didn't help Iran. That's the reason why they weren't trying to pop off and do anything with it against America. It's because they knew they'd get cooked. Yeah, that's the reason. Yep. You after the guy who said being in the country undocumented is not illegal. Why? Most undocumented immigrants. Oh, you're mad about the undocumented people? Yeah, well, they shouldn't be here. It's pretty simple. I'll be right back. Give me a second before I watch this, because apparently they did stop.
Oh, damn it. Freaking dead end. It's just this box. This is literally the only thing. Well. Okay. I definitely missed a room down there, but I'll get it on the way back down.
All right, settle down, calm down, boys, calm down. We're back. Also, I want to say, I said this earlier, obviously, but, just real quick, just so you guys know, yesterday I wasn't on, and I think everybody kind of was aware of that. People are asking. I'll go ahead and just talk about it for a minute, since, it was like, I said it like first 5 minutes of the stream. Yesterday, on Friday, my dad got sick, and he's been sick. And so, we kind of agreed on Sunday night. We were like, okay, well, if things don't improve substantially by Monday, tomorrow we're going to the hospital. Well, yesterday was Monday and we went to the hospital. And so took him into the emergency room. They admitted him into the hospital. He's there getting treatment now. I don't know how long he's going to be there. Their understanding or belief is that they think it's pneumonia, but we'll find out. And so that's pretty much it. I mean, today, obviously I've been calling and, checking in. His vitals and everything are fine. They were worried because he was complaining about everything, but it seems like otherwise things are okay. So that's pretty much where we're at. Is if it's fixable, that's good. I hope that it's fixable, right? This is pneumonia number 6. That's right. Number 6 in 2 or 3 years. And we thought we had it under control after number 4, because number 5 went and it came and went. He didn't even know he had it. But then this happened. Is he a smoker? Not anymore. He started smoking at 5, maybe 4 or 5 years old. And then he quit at, I think, like 50 something, somewhere around there. And so he did smoke for a while, but now he's not smoking. No, he's not smoking cigarettes or anything like that. And so that's it. Could it be in his house? I don't know. I mean, I've thought about other options, right? Like, I mean, would it be better for me to buy another house for him to live in that would maybe be cleaner? Would it be better for me to have because he didn't want to live in nurse. We had a conversation about that. And we talked about a number of other things about that too. Bitch ass pneumonia. Yeah. And he's been through it 6 times. The guy, he was in fucking, what do you call it? He was in Vietnam. He used to live out in the swamp back in the day. And I'm talking about when the hell was that? I mean, quite a long time ago. He was, he grew up in Florida, etc. And so, yeah, Agent Orange, all that stuff. He dealt with all of that. And so, that's pretty much where things are. I mean, he's tanked it 6 times now. And I don't know. I mean, I'm hoping, obviously, everything is going to be fine. But that's why I wasn't here yesterday, is that, I got up, obviously, earlier, 10 or 11 a.m., and went over to his house, and, he was having trouble even getting out the door, etc. It was a bad time, very bad time.
Yeah, well, and, hopefully he ends up doing better.
A lot of, I don't really say this, right, but, I guess... it's not PTSD, but it's something. It's a very, very negative, unpleasant reminder of this stuff, because it's a breathing problem. My mom had breathing problems too, and it was a lot of the same stuff. Very unpleasant for me, and bad memories. No surprise. And so anyway, that's what happened. And yesterday we took him to the emergency room. I was there with him for fucking 6 or 7 hours. It's insane how long it took there. Still did not even get a fucking room. He's finally in there. And so yeah, I'll be honest, naturally scared. Yeah, I am scared. I am, absolutely, for sure, straight up. Yeah. I hope things are better, right? But we try to take things one step at a time and go from there.
Yeah, you just see what happens.
Again, that's just that's how it is. And I'm trying to think if there's anything else really to say. A lot of you guys were really positive, and I showed him a lot of the messages that you guys sent, and he says he really appreciates it. He says thank you, and he's trying to get better, right, and all that. And so
Asmund has his dad on stream sometimes. Well,
I wish I did. I'm not a doctor.
Asmund is on stream, and then his dad calls him.
And so
Asmund,
I don't know, what does that mean for the future?
Let's just hear what his dad's side of the conversation is. It's good.
I really
it's exactly what you would expect out of a 78-year-old man. And it's beautiful.
I'm gonna try. I'm gonna tell you guys this.
So
I was
hopefully he's all right.
Back, after I dropped him off at the emergency room yesterday, got him, took him to the hospital. I was gonna go back home and go live, but I think he kind of wanted me to stay there with him, and so I had to prioritize that.
This
and,
almost
easy decision, right? Very easy decision for me to make, and so yeah. Hope he gets better. Yeah, no doubt. And pneumonia is one of the things that can complicate other illnesses. He just needs to stay ahead of it. Yeah, he was on a preventative maintenance antibiotic, but I think this might be a new version of it, or his body might have, developed the resistance to that antibiotic.
Oh, so then you gotta switch it out.
And so they're kind of, A/B testing a lot of that right now, and they're going to try to figure out how, what works and what doesn't. So that's about it. Maybe it's your house. It's making it hard on his lungs. No, if it was my house, I would have had the entire thing torn out and cleaned. I was going to do that for my mom. The only reason why I didn't do it for my mom is because she actively didn't want me to, because she was worried about the house getting condemned. And then once we had enough money to where I was like, okay, even if that happens, I can just buy another house. Then it was COVID and she refused to get the vaccine. So I couldn't get my, I wanted to do that for the house that I live in right now for her, but she refused to let me. And then because she didn't get the vaccine, I couldn't take that risk. Right? I mean, like, that's just how it is. That's how it is. And also, by the way, I don't think that would have really moved the needle a whole lot. Maybe it would have, maybe it wouldn't have. But, at the end of the day, she's an adult. She made her own choices, and that's, that's where it got her. And so, yeah, it's rough. It's really hard. And, you just got to get through it no matter what. And so, yeah.
Yeah.
And for your parents, yeah, and that's all there's. Professionals to check if there's mold hidden somewhere where he lives. Yeah, I mean, I think I'll probably look into that and figure something out, because like I
think I got mold in my house, right? Too.
Because like if he just keeps
enough where it's not like making me real sick, but I'd probably be better off if that weren't the case.
I think that at least having I think you bring up a really good point, is that having at least some form of investigation or looking into of this topic it
seems warranted,
like necessary.
Yeah.
And so hopefully that's what happens, and I'll get to that. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Air quality check, exactly. And so vaccine killed quite a few people. I know personally. I don't want to get into vaccine, right? That's not the point. The point is that
yeah, that's a big
reason
hole.
Why I didn't do it with my mom. Wiz, thanks for 100 subs. I appreciate it. Yeah, get an air purifier. I already got him too. Okay. And so, yeah, is he a heavy drinker? He used to be. He started drinking at about 5 years old, and he stopped at about, like, I don't know, like 55, 60 or so. So he doesn't really drink anymore. And so,
but that leaves lasting damage on your body.
Yeah, it's got AC.
That can complicate things later in life. I mean,
and I just want to let you guys know that's pretty much what's been going on with me. That's why I wasn't on
that's
yesterday.
What happens.
And I'm going to try to maintain and like be on every day. The fact is that's what he'd want me to do, and he's told me that. And so it's not like this is anything that's like against anyone's wishes. So
he seems pretty
much
shook about it though.
Yeah, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, man.
But there you go. I'll answer a few questions and I want to move on, and we're going to get back to this. Also, I haven't checked for
fungal. Oh man, must not have been looking too good.
In airways, I think it can be hard to tell. Yeah, I'm gonna make sure to bring that up to them again today too. Yeah, I've already brought that up. I brought that up to the nurse at the emergency room yesterday, and I'm gonna bring that up again today whenever I talk to the doctor, for sure. And why don't you stay with him? Then you can work and be next to him. To be honest with you, because I love my dad, but man, can he be fucking annoying. And I understand that one day I'm gonna have to do that. But there's a reason. All right?
Yeah.
And so I'm just being honest. You want me to be totally honest?
Yeah.
I'm being honest.
You'd drive me fucking crazy if I did that.
He doesn't want to live with anybody either. Right?
Yeah,
by the
right.
way, like he lives by himself too. It's not like this is a complete, and it's not that like he doesn't like me or something. It's just that he wants to have his own space. Right?
Yeah.
And so that's it.
I enjoy mine very much.
And make sure you do a heart scan too. Already done.
For the same reason.
Happened last night. And so they're going to be doing another one later on today. So yeah.
I still don't have fucking explosives.
Right no, he's probably just still chilling, sitting there complaining about something. Nurse foreign in Vietnam both had endemic fungi. Bolton will look over the house for years. Even some water leakage can cause fungi to get going. Use your resources to tear the house apart. Yeah, I mean, there's a house that's like near my house that's on sale. And my friends were trying to convince me to buy it, and I was looking at it, and I thought to myself, I'm like, maybe I could buy this house for my dad to live in too.
Do I have anything
closer to my house, and also, it would be like a place for me too. So I haven't decided. Yeah, Cody. Yeah, you told me about that, right? And so yeah, no, I talked to my dad about it. Yeah. We'll see what happens. And anyway, do it. I don't know. It's a good amount of money, so I'm not gonna get too into that. But yeah, and so we'll see what happens. I haven't decided, and I'm gonna ask him, right, because it's also about him, because he also has wanted to. He also because he traveled. It's actually really crazy. I guess I could just tell this whole story. Is that
I don't think I can damage him.
Basically, like, so the last time, like, I don't really cry a lot. Like, I'm not a crier. It's just not my thing. But the last time I cried to my dad is I was telling him about how sad I was because I was watching JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. And, you know, Joseph Joestar, I was in the Josuke arc, and he's, like, fucking old, and he's 78 years old in that story.
I don't think I can kill that thing without bombs.
Fucking, you know, they're moving him around to the wheelchair, and, like, you know, obviously I had been watching through the whole thing, so I watched him, you know, fucking, you know, outmaneuver cars, you know, be the fucking badass in Stardust Crusaders, etc. And now he's this old man, and it really fucked me up because it reminded me a lot of my dad. And I was like crying, telling him about this.
What the
and
fuck?
my dad just goes straight up to me. He's like this. Yep. And it's gonna get worse. And I was like, okay.
Gee, thanks, Dad.
All right. And so the ironic thing about that is that you know, in the same way that story, they had to take him around in the wheelchair whenever he was 78, and I just took him to Florida, right? So you know, life imitates art, apparently.
Where the fuck are the bombs?
Kind of a weird thing. It kind of fucked me up watching that happening. You know, not on an emotional level, because honestly, like, he was right. He's totally right about it. But yeah. Anyway, the point that I'm getting to with that is that you know, he had wanted to get a house out there too, and so I don't know really what he's going to want to do. Like, as I said, I told him I'll just do, you know, whatever it is, it'll happen. So you know, the main priority one right now is just making sure that, you know, he's healthy. And we do whatever preventative maintenance we can do. And so yeah, that's it. Yeah, and do whatever. Do his pops have any siblings? Yeah, he's got a brother and a sister. For me, like, you know, like we have family, but none of the family live here in Austin. I'm an only child, right? So like, I've been the sole one who's been responsible for everything for my mom too, and now with him, and I'll be honest, it's really hard. It's really rough. I'm lucky and privileged enough that I can, you know, like, I can work kind of on my own schedule, and I make a lot of money, and so there's things about this that make it easier. It's harder for other people more than it is for me, but it's fucking rough. It is hard, but that's just the way it is. So yeah, it's a lot of pressure. It is. It's a lot of pressure. And I try and do that, and I try not to let other people down too, but you know, it's just how it is. See what happens. But yeah, I just want to let you guys know that's pretty much where I've been at, what I've been doing, and how things have been. And so in case people are wondering, that's where we're at. And so yeah, it's hard seeing your family get old. Yeah, sure it is. And my family in Florida has been really supportive, and they're great, you know, and all that. But you know, honestly, I really do wish that, like, he was out there in a lot of ways so they could help take care of him and, you know, like, keep him company too, in the same way that, like, I can't all the time. But you know, I'll talk to them about that and, you know, figure things out whenever, you know, hopefully he's out of the hospital. So yeah, that's where we're at. And Chibi, thanks for the 10 subs. I appreciate it and everything like that. Thank you guys very much.
Do these already?
And so yeah, that's it.
I don't think I had the
anyway,
hook shot, though.
We'll move on. I just wanted to let you guys know, give everybody an update, and let people know pretty much what's going on and how it is. And so yeah. So apparently it looks like he just stepping down. So he not going to start any more shit after Trump yelled at him. Thank God.
Oh, Netanyahu.
We're gonna dive into this with retired Brigadier General John Tykert. He's a former fighter pilot and Pentagon official. General, good to see you. Thanks for coming on. Do you think this ceasefire holds, and do both sides have an incentive for it to hold?
They do.
Bill, clearly there was righteous anger by the president walking out Marine Corps One as he left about any possible violations of the ceasefire. I think he sees, like we all should see, that in the last 2 weeks, Israel has set back Iran in multiple ways, and it is in their best interest and American best interest to allow this ceasefire to hold, and especially when you consider the Iranian incentives here, that with Israel having air superiority or the
Iran has everything to gain with this. They really do. I mean, all they have to do is stop being crazy, stop funding terrorism, and we can trade with them, we can work with them, and like everything can improve. Literally everything can be better. There's no reason this has to even happen.
No, there isn't. There's no reason any of this shit's been going on in the first fucking place.
It sounds so, just stop being crazy, and they just won't stop.
Time
they just don't want to do it.
Do not have any
and I think that's what's happened. I mean, like, we've achieved that level of diplomacy with other countries in the Middle East right now. I think that we have. I don't think that it's impossible for us to do it with Iran, but Iran is definitely the last boss. For sure.
Yeah.
Reason for this war to continue, and so all incentives would suggest that Iran will not violate the ceasefire. Israel, with a strong admonition from the president, must not as well.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. Is it really seems like Iran would want to be looking for an off-ramp here.
Yeah.
Case in point, when they attacked our base in Qatar yesterday, they apparently gave the U.S. a heads up beforehand. What does it say to you when your enemy tells you, "Hey, we're going to attack you"? And here's
we have no bombs. We don't have like no explosive
they don't
ability
actually
at
want
all.
to get bombed or attacked because they like nobody knows the state of the Iranian military as well as the Iranian military. They know they're cooked.
Yeah.
They know that they're going to get their ass beat. So obviously they're not going to go and try to start trouble. Saving face. Yeah, but they have to save face. They have to.
Bill, yesterday at Al Udeid was clearly an off-ramp for the Iranians, that they did give us that intelligence heads up ahead of time, that planes and assets had already been dispersed and were heavily defended, and frankly, they attacked the most defended location in the middle of the Arabian Gulf, which
the hard way.
They were doing something to save face and very quickly accepted that off-ramp to the ceasefire last night.
Yeah, they probably knew all those missiles were going to be intercepted or shot down. So we saw President Trump angry and frustrated this morning.
Yep.
After he made those comments, after he dropped the F-bomb, he apparently had a call.
World War III warmongers? I said that shit wasn't going to happen. Yeah, again, I've been right about everything. Yeah, I mean, it's not anything new.
Yeah, like, nobody actually wants that, so it's not going to happen.
Benjamin Netanyahu in Israel, and Netanyahu's office released a statement after that phone call. If we can read part of that, it says, quote, "Following President Trump's conversation with Prime Minister Netanyahu, Israel refrained from further attacks in the..."
We got to do it the hard way.
Thank fucking God. Yep.
Refrain from further attacks. In the conversation, President Trump expressed his immense appreciation for Israel, which achieved all of its war goals. The president also expressed his confidence in the stability of the ceasefire. So, General, President Trump is clearly trying to walk a tightrope here. He really wants this ceasefire to hold.
It's actually crazy. Like, this is one of those situations where there's 100 ways for it to go wrong and one way for it to go right.
Yeah.
Really? I mean, you think about like all the bad things that could happen.
It's complicated.
Yeah, he's absolutely on a tightrope with this.
And it sounds like he made a personal phone call
we did this
to
already.
Bibi Netanyahu when he heard that Israeli planes were in the air.
So you need to chill the fuck out.
We got to get this to calm down.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's good.
Bill, very clearly Israel had targets.
When Donald Trump is telling people legitimately that they need to calm down,
they have gained in the last 2 weeks,
that's something, isn't
that
it?
will allow
Like
this ceasefire to benefit Israel in the long run in the United States. I think that strongly worded statement by the president and then ultimately his conversation with the prime minister gave Israel all the incentive in the world to stop and abide by the ceasefire.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck he told them, but I could imagine.
I think it's going to work.
I bet like that crash out that happened at the White House with like fucking what's his name, Zelensky. I bet that was nothing. I bet whenever they're actually talking about it, I bet they're yelling at each other.
Oh yeah.
Fucking throwing. I wouldn't be surprised if people are throwing shit around.
Yeah.
Like exactly like the same as like remember Elon Musk had like a black eye. I wouldn't be surprised.
is going to violate.
I wonder how he got
ceasefire.
that black eye. I've heard various things.
On Fox News last night. We'll get your thoughts on the other side.
I don't think so. I do.
If Iran thinks that they can violate the ceasefire, if they can go ahead and just keep doing what they've been doing and building a nuclear weapon, they'll find out that with President Trump, he's not playing. For a long time, we've been saying, pray for the peace of Jerusalem. Donald Trump may be the first one to actually help make that happen.
Yeah, I think at this point, Iran probably knows President Trump isn't playing around after he took out Soleimani. Now he wiped out their nuke facilities. Got about a minute left. Your final thoughts.
Deterrence, that word that we throw around a lot, Bill, comes down to strength of capability and will. The United States has had strength of capability for years now, if not decades, but we've lacked the demonstration of strength of will until these last few weeks. And the last 4 years have been disastrous. But
sometimes you just have to go and put your dick on the table and say, listen, bitch, this is how it's going to be. Sometimes you have to do that.
Well,
and that's what he did.
Trump is a willful person. I don't think anybody would argue with that point.
Secretary Rubio said 2 days ago, American deterrence is back.
Sometimes you got to just get somebody in there that's got a big pair of balls.
All right, we will leave it there.
Because
General John Teichert,
in a way, he doesn't give a fuck. He's getting what he wants.
There it is. And so U.S. officials believe...
And he will take the easiest path to get there because that's what you should do, but not... There's nothing off the table if this is a goal we're going to get to.
Nobody ever thought that wasn't going to happen or that wasn't true. Like this one right here is one of their nuclear sites. And the problem... So here's the issue, right? Is that some of them were developing power, and the other ones were developing enriched uranium that could be used.
The power ones are fine. We're not actually worried about that.
This is the one I think that Bouchier or whatever is the one where they have a lot of the Russian scientists, for example.
Wherever they're enriching it to weapons grade, that's the problem. They can have nuclear power. That's fine.
It's about whether they could go beyond having nuclear power. So
they can have nuclear power. That's fine, but just do it by the rules.
Survived. Only entrances were sealed. Well, I don't know. I don't think
because so just regular power plant grade uranium. Well, okay. I thought about this earlier. Okay, so science class 101. Like uranium is actually fairly abundant in the Earth's crust. It's not rare by any means. It's relatively easy to get. It's just that you needed relatively kind of a lot. Because when I say uranium is abundant in the Earth's crust, it's there's not just big chunks of it laying around everywhere. You know, you got to sift through the minerals and extract it, right? And even then, so uranium has two isotopes. What that means is it's the same atom, except it has a couple more neutrons in the nucleus. But otherwise, it's functionally the same. But in most cases, it's still uranium either way. But one of those types isn't really worth that much. It doesn't do anything as far as nuclear stuff. And then the other isotope is what you want. Well, the other isotope that you do want is 1 part in 1,000 compared to the kind that you don't want. So you use a centrifuge because the atoms that you actually want are slightly heavier because they have extra neutrons, right? So they're slightly heavier. So you use a centrifuge to spin things around real fast, and eventually the heaviest stuff will settle out to the outside of it, right? That's literally all it is. It just takes a long time to purify your yield that way. But you only need 3.5% purity, basically, to run a nuclear reactor, and it works just fine. For weapons grade uranium, you need it enriched to, well, I don't know, 90% or something like that. But so you would never need to, if you're only using it for power purposes, you would never need to purify it more than to 3.5%. And these guys were doing it at 60. The only reason you would have uranium enriched to that level and be actively enriching it further is for weapons, not, your nuclear power plants. So that's the problem. Otherwise, just using, being able to use nuclear power, it's fine. Make sure you do your maintenance on your reactors because you don't want to live in radioactive wasteland. But reactor designs are pretty safe, so that's not really a big concern. But otherwise, that's of no consequence to me halfway around the world, whether their nuclear power plant melts down or not. Not really. Not the same way as getting nuked would. Completely different things. So that's the problem, is that they were purifying it more than they were supposed to be, and not by a little, by a lot. And by a lot in the direction of making weapons. That's the whole premise of the thing in the first place. Any nuclear sites within their country that weren't where they were purifying stuff at, that's not really a security concern for us in as much. Like, there's no reason for us to blow up their nuclear power plants or anything like that. No. So I think that's what they're talking about. Like, well, we got all these other nuclear sites. Yeah, they're just power plants. That's fine. That isn't the problem. The problem is the enrichment centers where they're purifying the stuff far beyond the necessity for nuclear power. That's the problem. If they would just stop that and then, stop funding terrorist organizations, that would be really good if they did that. I think our relations would be a lot better if they cut some of that out,
Yeah, well, if the
might be a good idea.
Sealed, how do they know it survived? I have no idea. So it's hard really for us to say. But several bases, yeah, they have a number of different bases here, and that was never the case. And so the entire idea of us wiping out their entire nuclear program, that was never the goal. That was never the point. That was never what they were trying to do. So I'm just glad that they were able to kind of get them under control, because I didn't know if that was going to happen. Honestly, I really didn't.
Well, it looks to me like if you take a step back, it looks to me like the U.S. targeted specifically the things that we thought were a problem and nothing else. We literally didn't touch them at all except for those 3 spots, right? Because naturally we had, intelligence that that's where the enrichment was going on. That's the whole point, right? And that's the only thing we really have a problem with. So we just took care of the thing that we had a problem with. That's it. That's the least amount of effort we have to expend to get the base job done. And the less collateral damage we do, the easier it will be to have relations with the other side when eventually you have to come to some sort of agreement, right? So you do the least damage that you can, but you let them know you're not fucking around. It's just a show of force, I suppose. We're not fucking around. Knock it off. Basically, it really is like, you got that out of your system? Okay. It sounds so cliche. I remember hearing many times growing up in life, everything you need to know about life you learned in kindergarten. But goddamn, is it true? Even in things like this sometimes. I wonder if there's anything much else that happened, or if that's pretty much all that happened yesterday was just that. So I didn't really see anything, like I said, overnight on Twitter. Besides just, you know, the normal stupid bullshit, I guess. So, yeah. Hopefully today's a better day where everybody understands better what the hell they're supposed to be doing or not. Calm down, kitty. There you go. You get your treats. Stop ankle biting me.
Didn't. I thought there was a good chance that, you know, they were just going to keep going and keep starting more shit, and that was it. But let's see if I can find a few more of these, if there's anything else that's really going on here. But yeah, I think I've already seen the rest of these. But they're even trying to impeach Trump over this. Let me see if I can show this and pull it up and show you guys. And you watch the NATO summit?
They tried.
Really
it failed.
Happen with that, right? I mean, I wouldn't expect a whole lot.
By a lot.
If Iran is retarded enough to actually make a nuke, they'll be wiped off the map. Well, they'll also just get bombed again, right? I mean, that's really what's going to happen. Is like if they cause problems again, they're going to get bombed again. So why would they go and do that? So anyway, so yeah,
it seems like it's in their best interest.
Iran is declaring victory. Great, you wanted to. All right, that's fine. As long as the missiles stop flying, everything is okay.
Yeah, if you want to say you won, that's fine.
I think that's what makes sense. So
who cares?
50 years, 100 years? Yeah, I mean,
you
sure,
did,
right?
Because you didn't get deleted off the fucking map. So you're right.
It's a huge positive. And
just go with that.
I think it's very disgraceful the amount of people that were kind of like almost celebrating whenever the ceasefire was broken. And she comes propaganda. No, they tried to. This is it. They tried to break. What do you call it? No, they tried to impeach Trump. Let me see if I can show this again. And. Yeah, they tried to impeach Trump. I don't even know why. I have no idea why.
Just because.
But
you don't like him.
Apparently, didn't work.
Yeah, it didn't.
HRES 537 has been.
This is the guy. Remember, this is the guy that got kicked out.
Because I believe that the President of the United States has committed an impeachable act.
Yeah, so he was really pissed off and mad. They were trying to get rid of Trump, and so here we go.
You guys earlier literally just
you just voted to do it.
Y'all did it first, so
you just voted to do it.
Order.
I'm trying to get clarification.
Look at calm down. Calm down.
No, because this is what y'all do. So I'm trying to get clarification.
You're not. Ho's mad.
Yeah.
I can't hear you with your yelling.
Calm
down.
I responded to like
Tell me to calm down.
10 posts yesterday with a clip of Ho's mad, by the way. And I felt really good about it.
Mr. Chairman.
Chair, okay. Order. Chair now, Ricky.
By the way, this entire act that she has is totally fake. She comes from like some rich family, went to a private school, so her trying to act like she's like, you know, about that life, total fucking cosplay. Just keep that in mind. And anyway, so this is what happened.
Let's see. On this vote, the yeas are 344, the nays are 79.
Jesus.
The motion is adopted. Without objection, the motion to reconsider is laid upon the table.
Wow.
Pursuant to Clause 8 of Rule 20, the unfinished business is the vote on ordering the previous question on House Resolution 530, on which the yeas and nays are ordered. The clerk will report the title of the resolution.
And so they're crashing out. And so it wasn't, and also it was not even close.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, 344 to 79.
Yeah.
They got totally fucking
like
cooked.
about 3 to
and so,
by
yeah,
about 3 to 1.
Impeach. Get the fuck out of here. And let's see, is there any more of these? It isn't going anywhere. Oh, this is another one here. Let me see if I can find it. was tired of the blatant lies and theater on the left, waste of our tax dollars.
Yeah, it's stupid.
Yeah, it's a huge waste of money. It's a waste of everybody's time and money. It's just a waste of everything. But that's just what it is. Let me go back. I'll see. Oh, God. Oh, bro. I guess we can watch this, but I'm not ready for that yet. Give me a second. Let me see if I can find a few more of these over here. And you also have, and this is, remember what I was saying before about how, like, obviously this was Trump, like, lining up, getting all his ducks in a row before he went after Iran?
Yeah. I think that happened.
I mean, you guys, it's pretty obvious that's what he's trying to do, right? It's pretty fucking obvious, like 100%. That's what it was. And so your Texas Congress,
he was trying to get in everybody's good graces over there for some reason.
Do, right? That's
yeah.
It. I mean, like, that's just how it is. Read it. You're blocking it. I'd like to thank the highly respected Emir of Qatar for all that he has done in seeking peace for the region. Regarding the attack today at the American base in Qatar, I'm pleased to report that in addition to no Americans being killed or wounded, very importantly, there have been no Qataris killed or wounded. Thank you for your attention to this matter.
Mm-hmm.
And so there we go. And so he tried to lock it in and make sure that these people weren't going to take Iran's side whenever he took action against them. Yeah, he knew this shit was going to happen right from the beginning. And there's this too. Oil prices went down after Trump bombed Iran's program. Which is kind of crazy to think.
Yes.
Happening and why the stunning drop to now below $69 a barrel.
The logical thing would
like
have
Iran
been
was a destabilizing force in the region.
You'd think it would make the oil price go up. It didn't.
And then
that's
limiting their
insane.
Influence of destabilizing would make people more secure.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
This is really unbelievable. If you
want actually is.
One number that crystallizes everything that Jennifer Griffin and Trey Yingst and Jillian were just saying, it's the oil price right now. We are in the 60s, okay? We are at a lower oil price right now than we were when President Trump took office. And
that's crazy to think about.
In the context of the last 48 hours, in the context of the last week and a half, it's almost...
And it makes perfect sense, by the way.
Well, it does.
What a big surprise when Trump has, positive diplomatic relationships with all the countries that he's doing business with, doing oil stuff, that people are going to be more confident that oil is not going to have some kind of fucking massive weird thing happen.
Yeah.
Of course. Duh.
Mind-boggling that the oil price, West Texas Intermediate, would have a 6 handle on it. Meantime, you've got the Dow up 200, 300 points at one point today. What it tells you is the risk premium.
What a weird world we live in where like some crazy shit like this goes on and like stocks go up, oil price goes down. Like, what the fuck? That's not what normally happens. We got barbecues, by the way.
Like, everybody that likes to go on Twitter and fearmonger, don't bet on what people say, bet on what people bet on.
Yeah.
And the reality is that if people are betting on the prices going down, that's what really matters. Not some weird tweet about, oh my God, we're all gonna die.
Yeah.
Nobody cares about that. That's bullshit.
Iran may be going after the Strait of Hormuz. As oil ticks down, what it's telling you is the folks who monetarily have the biggest stake in the game in oil are saying, we don't think Iran's going to do that in any meaningful way. Stock investors are saying all the risks of inflation that we were baking in that were maybe causing markets to go down, that's draining out of the system. This is really, these numbers tell you that the people who make it a professional endeavor to assess risk in the world are
the people who actually have skin in the game. Not somebody who's just tweeting for clout, but somebody who actually, if you fuck this up, you lose a lot of money.
At this moment, risk in the Middle East is diminishing because of what Israel's accomplished, because of what the United States and this president have accomplished, and what it's meant to Iran. Clearly, Iran has gotten a signal that it has not gotten in a very long time.
Yeah, obviously, because they got all their shit blown up. I mean, it's really just that simple. And let's go back. I'll see if I can find a few more of these over here too. And I'm liking this guy more and more every single day. Maybe my party should be less neurotic, quit the virtue signaling, and be normal.
Oh, yeah, that's Fetterman.
Oh,
man. Okay, that worked.
What you think about the possibility. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez says the president shouldn't be impeached because he's impulsive. What do you think of that?
No, I mean, of course, no. She knows it. I know it. We all know it. That's not going anywhere.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's not. Nothing's gonna happen.
Yeah. So what? Water's wet.
We're just wasting everybody's time.
And you know, he's been impeached twice, and now he's still our president.
Thanks for 100 subs.
So it's not going anywhere, and I don't think that's helpful. And I think if you throw that term around, that actually diminishes what the severity of what impeachment is really reserved for.
Yep.
I actually agree with
he's
him.
the only person I think that's reasonable,
Yep.
and he's the only person also, by the way, that's had a stroke there. So how is it that somebody has a stroke and they're the voice of reason? I think that's very scary to think about. Very, very scary. Where the hell did this go? Why is this not working? God damn it. Give me a second. I've got to find it. It's not loading now for some reason.
I do have KD's.
Only president who has 3 impeachments?
sold.
No. Only president who has 3 impeachments
So far. Yeah.
Yeah, you've got to keep in mind, it could still be even more than that.
We have 3.5 years left.
Is
so
this one going to work? Let's go back and double check. I'll give it a second or so, and then hopefully it does. I don't know if it will or not, but we'll find out. Why you act like he's retarded because of his stroke? I don't. That's my whole point. My whole point is that a stroke is in some ways, it could possibly like negatively affect your mental facilities, right? And so my point is that isn't it funny that the person who's had a stroke that could negatively affect your mental facilities is still the person who has of sound mind? And so, apparently this just for whatever reason isn't working. I don't really know why. Let me see if I can find it here. I'll try and do it one more time. Yep, for some reason they don't want me to see this video. And honestly, I don't blame them. Let me go back over. I'll find a few more of these and put on a spectrum. Yeah, brains dying. I mean, I guess so, right? The view's canceled. Definitely. Let me go back.
The view's canceled?
If we Bernie Sanders.
Couldn't get that lucky.
Uh-oh.
Old Bernie.
You got to deal with this climate change issue. And I know that, there are some people who think climate change is a hoax. It ain't a hoax. I think the last 10 years have been warmest on record. And we can't create millions of good-paying jobs, transforming
being sold as being more serious than it probably is, though, to be fair.
To solar, to wind, and other sustainable energies.
I think the climate change issue is very complicated. And I think, did you see the Washington Post piece that they wrote where they did this long-term view? First of all, the reality is that the Earth's temperature has never been static, right? We could both agree on that. It's always been up and down. There's been ice ages and heat waves. And then the Washington Post looked at it. What was the time period that they looked at? That essentially they found that we're in a cooling period. That the Earth over the past X amount of years, and this was like a very inconvenient discovery, but they had to report the data, and kudos to them for doing that. Scientists have captured the Earth's climate change over the last 485 million years. Here's a surprising place we stand now. So look at the far end of that graph, and you
Yeah, so, it's been hotter in the past, etc. And as a matter of fact, I think, the last, 2 years, at least, maybe longer ago than that, how, they talk about how, the ice caps are melting and shit? And then they show before and afters, and clearly the glaciers have receded. Well, it's actually been going the other way for a couple of years now, where they're actually growing again instead of just getting worse and worse and worse. They're actually accumulating back, which really takes a lot of the wind out of the sails of a lot of that climate change stuff. I think it's still like we need to be very mindful of our impacts on the world around us for our own good. But these people that are making it alarmist, we got to do something right now, this and that and whatever, they're doing it because they're trying to make money. That's why there's the sense of urgency. Because the math don't quite math for it being as urgent as they make it out to be. That's all. It's still something that bears consideration, of course. But, yeah, the polar ice caps are actually growing again instead of melting. They had been melting for quite a while, but now they're not. So then it makes you, kind of wonder a little bit, well, it seems like maybe this is... Explain that. Like, did we do something that made that happen? Maybe. But now there's another element to the puzzle there that wasn't there before. So if we learn something from it, well, we should, one way or the other. It'll be good. I'm going to cut her off there. My pizza is in the oven, is probably done. And yeah, it doesn't seem like there's a whole lot more on here. We got through the stuff that I wanted to talk about a little bit at least. So yeah, we can save climate change for another day. But so anyways, thanks for playing.